an elevated game day experience. Lock in the ultimate experiences with epic savings and undeniable bragging rights all season long. Get it while supplies last. TCL is the official TV partner of the NFL. Find TCL at all major retailers. TCL, bigger, brighter, better holidays. Select models, limited time. See all major retailers for details.
Are your lights flickering more than a disco ball? Tired of your office coffee maker and server room fighting over that one working outlet? Call the pros who keep the juice flowing. Elite Power Inc. Elite Power Inc. is the commercial and industrial electrical contractor who takes your power and lighting seriously so you don't have to. Elite Power Inc. handles everything from rewiring ancient office buildings to installing cutting-edge control panels in factories. Their IBEW 340 electricians have more certifications than your printer has error messages. And they promise not to judge your breaker panel's creative labeling. Get plugged in with Elite Power Inc., where sparks fly, but only in a good way. Professionally trained technicians, 24-hour electrical service, maintenance, and repair. Project estimating, the knowledge and skill for any commercial or industrial need. Call 916-739-1580. That's 916-739-1580, or go to elitepower.com.
The holidays are here, and Gabrud Services is here for any electrical need or emergency. Holiday periods put more stress on your home's electrical system, more activity, more lights being used, increased appliance use, and more. Here are 3 holiday electrical reminders from the good dudes at Gabrud's. 1. There's still time for Gabrud's to inspect your home's electrical integrity. 2. Gabrud's are the experts in backup generator installation with flexible financing options to make a whole house generator affordable. And 3. Gabrud's has live call answering 24/7. We're here any time of day, especially in case of an emergency. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. And at the holidays, we're here to ensure your home and family are safe. Locally owned for more than 30 years. Call Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabrud's.com.
Tired of the same old routine? Need a place where the beer flows and the good times roll? Then head to Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Family owned and operated, so you know you'll feel right at home. Catch all your favorite games on 18 big screens while enjoying amazing food. And with 28 beers on tap, you're sure to find something you love. And don't miss everyday happy hour from 3 to 7 and again from 10 till close. Looking for more than just the game? Trivia Tuesday starts at 7 p.m. And there's Mario Kart and bingo nights for even more fun, too. There's always a blast happening at Fieldhouse. Whether you're looking for a place to watch the game, grab a bite with the family, or just unwind with friends, Fieldhouse is the place to be. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Bring it to the house.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for my friends at DAS Mechanical. Did you know most homeowners are changing their heating and air systems from gas to all electric? It's about getting more energy efficiency and saving a lot more money every month on energy bills. If your current heating and air system is 15 years or older, it may be time to consider a change. Call DAS Mechanical first. Nearly all of DAS's work is gas to electric whole system changeouts. Nick and his team, they're experts. They also have 0% financing and 24/7 availability if you ever have a heating emergency. Award-winning, locally owned. It's DAS Mechanical, serving their Sacramento and Placer County neighbors for years. Save more on your energy bills. Call, text, or chat at 530-591-1055 to find out more, or go to dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org.
Tell your friends.
Grant's back!
Grant Napear is back on the Sacramento airwaves right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Hello!
Hello, Sacramento.
Sacktown!
And welcome in.
Grant Napear.
How you been?
You know this guy.
It's your show.
So happy to hear you on the airwaves.
Time to begin.
2+ decades on the radio with you.
Just the start of an incredible journey.
Now he's back on Fox Sports 104.7 FM and 890 AM.
3 to 6 every day, Fox Sports Sacramento.
The phone number?
916-779-0929.
His name? Grant Napear.
Yeah, we get you ready for the big football weekend, and what a weekend it's going to be. And it started off last night. The conference championship games tomorrow, right into the NFL on Sunday. How about that game last night in Motown? I'll tell you, the Lions are either really good or they're really bad. I like the way they played last night. You could see that they were dialed in. Now, the game did get close in the second half, and Dallas, who has a really good offense this year, got hurt with the loss of CeeDee Lamb with the concussion. I mean, that was a big loss for them. But even with that said, they were able to move the ball against that Lions defense. The problem with Dallas is their defense. I mean, it's just not very good, and it hasn't been good really all year. And Dallas is going to have a really difficult time getting into the playoffs. As a matter of fact, I just don't see it. And part of the reason why I don't see it is they have the short end of the stick when it comes to a potential tiebreaker against Chicago, Carolina, and now Detroit. So that is going to make life very difficult. Their best chance really is to hope that the Eagles, who look like they are falling off a cliff, continue to fall off the cliff, and the Cowboys run the table, and the Eagles just completely fall apart. The one thing that Dallas does have currently, again, it's current, they have a better divisional record than Dallas, but, that tie for Dallas, they're now 6-6-1. Philadelphia is 8-4. And they split the regular season meetings. I mean, it would be hard to imagine the Eagles completely destructing where they don't win the division. But as I say that, they have games against the Raiders that you got to figure there's no way in the world, right? There's no way in the world they're going to lose to the Raiders. You would figure they're going to win. They have 2 games against Washington. So let's just say they split. That's all they need to do. I mean, I can't imagine the Eagles not winning that division. So we'll talk about the NFL. Sean Salisbury is coming on today at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock today. He was not able to join us for his usual Tuesday spot, but he's going to be coming on here in about an hour, and we're going to talk to him about the National Football League. We'll talk to him about what he thinks about the Lions. The Lions with the win, they are right back in the thick of things. When you look at the standings now and all of the head-to-head matchups that still remain in the NFC North, Chicago's 9-3, Green Bay 8-3-1. Now Detroit is 8-5. And when you look at the games coming up this weekend, guess who's playing in Green Bay? It's the Bears and the Packers. So one of those teams, barring a tie, is going to have 4 losses. The Lions, to me, are at least, and I know they've been inconsistent, but to me, they're at least a wild card team when I project what's going to happen, but not by a lot. Not by a lot. I mean, they're still going to have to win the majority of their games. They have the Rams coming up. They have Pittsburgh at home, at Minnesota, at Chicago to wrap up this season. So I can't wait. It's going to be a fun rest of the month and fun moving into January. Speaking of fun, that's tomorrow in college football. And where do you want to start? Has there ever been a bigger football game ever, and I mean ever, for Indiana and the Hoosiers than they have tomorrow? Number 2 against number 1. And I know you could say, well, gee, they're still going to be in the college football playoff, and it's really not as big. No, I think it is. I think you're playing Ohio State. You're 12-0, and Ohio State's 12-0. I don't remember a bigger game in the history of Indiana University football. I just don't. Tell me if you agree or disagree on that. I would love to know if you are a fan of the Big Ten. I mean, when's the last time we've really talked about Indiana like this? Now, I know they were in the college football playoffs a year ago, but you know what I mean. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. So here we go. All right. Tomorrow, Georgia, Alabama, BYU, Texas Tech, Indiana, Ohio State, and some other games that will have a factor in who gets into the show, which we're going to find out about very soon. So tomorrow is a dandy of a day for college football. I cannot wait. Love it. Cannot wait. All right, the Kings, they are in South Florida. They take on the Miami Heat tomorrow. The Heat, by the way, are playing tonight in Orlando. No Tyler Hero. They are ruling it a toe irritation. All right, whatever that means. But he is not playing tonight. A guy that is playing is Paulo Boncaro is back for Orlando tonight. Temperature beautiful in South Florida, 80 degrees and sunny. That's about the only thing that's going to be good for the Kings, I think, even though Miami is playing tonight against the Orlando Magic and then back home for the Kings tomorrow. By the way, you want to know about Dennis Schroeder? He is out for the game tomorrow. Schroeder had an MRI that the Kings released, all right? So he had an MRI, and it revealed a mild right hip flexor strain. So that was, I didn't even see that when that came out last week. I think that came out last Saturday was the release. I was unaware that had passed me by. I beg your pardon that he had an MRI. Regardless, like, do you even know that he's on the floor or not on the floor? I mean that. Like, has it even entered your mind? And here's something else I was looking at earlier. And I have been trying to reflect back from when I started with the Kings back in 1988 and moved to Sacramento in 1987, because I've been asked a lot in person and on social media and here on the radio show and on our YouTube channel, if you don't like that, do I remember things being this bad? And I got to tell you, after looking at everything and the fact that it's only the 5th of December, I would say, no, I don't. Let me throw some numbers at you, Mr. Napear, Mr. Non-Numbers Napear. Let me throw some numbers at you from Mr. Non-Numbers Napear. The most important numbers are 5 wins and 17 losses. All right? Another really disturbing number is the minus 11.8. That is the point differential. How staggering is that? Well, this is going to blow your mind. The difference between the Kings and the Thunder, okay, is 27.1 points a game. Think about that. The difference between the Thunder and the Kings is 27.1 points a game. You want to hear some other numbers that just like blow me away? Mr. Non-Numbers Napear speaking to you here on a Friday. The Kings are already pretty much 99% out of any possibility for a top 6 spot in the West. This is with only 1/4 of the season in the books. Minnesota is 14-8. They're currently 6th. Sacramento is already 9 games behind Minnesota. Think about that for a minute. On December 5th, not only are the Kings with a dismal 5-17, they are already 9 games back of the 6th place in the West. Now, if you were one of these eternal optimists and you're like, well, you never know, the 10th spot is currently occupied by Portland. Memphis and Portland are 9-13. The Jazz also have 13 losses and are currently in 11th and are way ahead of Sacramento on the map. The Kings are only 4 games behind Portland, Memphis, 3.5 behind Utah. I say only. So, like, if you're an eternal optimist and you think, oh, you know what? You never know. You can get on a little bit of a roll. Yeah. So, in a nutshell, Mr. Non-Numbers Napear throwing you out numbers. No, I don't ever recall things being this bleak, this bad, this early in the season. I really don't. And when you have a point differential that far, I mean, over 27 points a game from the team that's number 1 in the West, wow. I mean, there's really nothing else you can say. Wow. By the way, if you were a fan of the Boston Celtics tonight and you were hoping to see this renewed rivalry, shouldn't say renewed, but the continued rivalry between the Celtics, all right, and the Lakers, one time a year, Luka is still in Slovenia as he has welcomed the birth of his child. And then you have LeBron James, who's got a variety of issues that's keeping him out of the game. Elsewhere tonight, Heat, Magic, Nuggets, Hawks, Spurs, Cavs, Portland and Detroit, Jazz in New York, Hornets, Raptors, Bulls at home to the Pacers, Suns are in Houston, Clippers at the Grizzlies, 76ers, Bucks, Mavericks, and the Thunder. That's your NBA schedule. Something else I want to talk about today. It is very interesting. Rustin Dodd of The Athletic wrote a story in The Athletic. How do you hold a star athlete accountable? So, like, how do you handle disciplining a star player in a societal change that I think that we have undergone here in this country? And I don't even think that's debatable, right? Like, Bobby Knight would last 24 hours at the most if he were coaching in this day and age, okay? The Bill Parcells of the world, even though his players loved him, and I can go on and on with coaches that appear to have a very volatile approach in handling their players. But now, and I think it's for the bad, not for the better. I think it's for the worse, not for the better. I think as a society, we are way too soft, right? Way too soft. I can even go from fraternity hazing to on the sports fields, in the classroom, participation trophies. I can go on and on. Me personally, and again, I think it has a lot to do with my age. I'm 66. I'm old school. I know how I was raised. I know that when I was playing both high school and college sports, that I knew an approach that worked for me. I had no problem being yelled at. I had no issues with what I had to go through with my fraternity pledging and Hell Week and the hazing that went on. It made me, at the end, even though it was really hell as I was going through it for the week, it was, at the end, a sense of great accomplishment and made me very proud to have done so. And it was really, it at an early age where you're learning to grow up and being away from home for the first time, was a real growing up experience for me in telling myself that I can accomplish a lot through very trying adversity with very little sleep and things of that nature. So, like, if that happened now, your fraternity house or sorority house would be kicked off campus. You would be disbanded and everything else, right? I mean, that's just the way we are. So this is a societal change. But I want to just get a couple of things. So Rustin Dodd wrote this, and Memphis coach Isalo, according to the story, he called out Ja Morant's effort and his leadership in front of the entire team. And that's when Ja Morant responded with, as the author of this story, Rustin Dodd, called it a terse interview that lasted 55 seconds, which in turn led to a one-game suspension. And so his premise of the article is the narrative of what he's trying to get across, and that, as he writes, a head coach and a star player clash, leaving bruised egos in a fraught atmosphere, and even with much to sort out, the confrontations underscore one of the eternal questions of coaching. What is the best way to hold a player accountable? It's great. He writes, if anything, sports locker rooms remain one of the last workplaces where harsh, unfiltered criticism remains a common motivational tactic. Can't do that in the workplace now, right? What happens? You got HR departments. You go to HR. You complain. If an individual is found to have overstepped his boundary or her boundary in any way, shape, or form, it can lead to termination, punishment, right? Things are different now. It's very interesting. He uses a lot of examples, like Greg Popovich, who was quoted in this story as saying he preferred brutal, between-the-eyes honesty. Talks about a soccer coach and talks about former NFL coach Bruce Arians, who said, quote, for me, it's like, hey, my door's always open, man. Come on in. But you might not get the answer you're looking for. You're going to get the truth. How about that? And then he writes in this story, that doesn't mean it always works. It can light a fire in an employee. It can backfire too. Every day, coaches must figure out a way to establish a culture of accountability, to have difficult conversation with players, to deliver necessary feedback in the most productive way possible. What happened earlier this year, right? What did we see in the National Football League? What did we see? We saw the Arizona Cardinals, correct? We saw a coach and a player, okay? We saw a verbal tongue lashing. And what happened to Jonathan Gannon? He was publicly humiliated, in my opinion. He was fined by the team, if you can believe this, $100,000. Can you imagine if that was the course of action 10 years ago, 20 years ago? Can you imagine if Bobby Knight got fined every time he yelled at a player? Can you imagine if Bill Parcells got fined? And we can go on and on. There are so many coaches. Now, even it's, from what I understand, it's different in the military, right? Correct? Like this is even carried over into the military. And if I'm wrong there, please let me know. I've never served in the military. And if you are currently in the military or have just finished a tour of duty or your requirement for what you signed up for or serving the country, and thank you for your service, let me know. I would love to hear that. 916-779-0929. So I'm going to read more from this story because I think it's a very interesting conversation. I really do. Because coaches have their own philosophy. Mike Tomlin, as in this story in The Athletic, coach of the Steelers, has a simple creed. The standard is the standard, and he has an open door policy for any player. Joe Madden, World Series winning manager. I liked what he said. He said, quote, if I tell you the truth, you may not like me for a week. If I lie to you, you'll hate me forever. How about that? John Harbaugh, Baltimore Ravens coach, quote, we talk a lot with our players about confrontation. Our idea of confrontation comes from my dad. Confrontation gets a bad rap in terms of definition. Confronting things is a good thing. We want to confront everything, but we don't want to confront anybody. So what is the right formula here? There is no correct answer to that question. Everyone's different. People act differently. They behave differently. Their emotions are different. And as a coach, you need to know which players that you can really push the button on, and certain players you cannot push that button. You need to know the individual. You need to know what they can handle and what they can't handle. The ultimate responsibility of a coach is to get the most out of their player. That's it. Right? Their ultimate responsibility is to get the most from their players. That's their job. And if they don't get the most from the players, for whatever reason, it affects their longevity because very often they're no longer coaching that team. Is it babying the players? Well, in some instances it is. Is it a direct, honest approach? I think that's the best way. I mean, yelling is fine. Well, I mean, if you're an athlete and you can't handle the coach yelling at you, you're in the wrong profession. So I want to talk more about this when we come back. Give me a call. We're into sports. That's what I think. 916.
From Bennett's Restaurants. Looking for the best happy hour in town? Head to Bennett's, where every day from 2 to 6, you'll find flavor, fun, and serious value. Enjoy over 10 wines by the glass, country club style cocktails like lemon drops, skinny margaritas, and crave-worthy share plates. Short rib tacos, chicken wings, calamari, and more, starting at just $6. It's upscale without the uptight. 3 locations, Roseville, Rockland, and Sacramento. Join us today or check out the menu at bennettsrestaurants.com.
The holidays can be a time of increased stress for those struggling with opioid or stimulant use disorder. Complex family dynamics, financial strain, and cultural expectations can weigh heavily and become a tipping point for those battling the physical and mental effects of addiction. But the holidays can also be a time for pause, reflection, opportunity, and new beginnings. They're a chance to take stock of what we have and are thankful for, to remember what's most important to us, and to consider what we can change. The holidays are a time of hope. So this holiday season, choose treatment and recovery. Embrace the support and company of family and friends, and create special moments. Get started by finding a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at choosechangeca.org. Find a proven treatment option that's right for you. Recover you at choosechangeca.org. That's choosechangeca.org.
Need new tires? From now until December 15th, save $100 instantly when you buy a set of 4 Bridgestone Weather Peak tires. Save $70 instantly when you buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires. Or buy a set of 4 eligible Firestone tires and save $70 instantly at Express Tires, 7215 Watt Avenue. Offer valid now through December 15th. Cannot be combined with other offers. See Express Tires for details.
Brad Gazan. On Atlanta United, we know everyone has a ritual, a habit we never skip, to clear our minds and elevate our performance. But what do you do to keep your head in the game? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body. It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Find resources at georgia.loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute, the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation, and the Ad Council.
From the 530, it's the lack of discipline in bringing up kids nowadays. 916-779-0929. I think that's a pretty broad and general statement. I don't think you can just put a blanket on it's the lack of discipline in bringing up kids nowadays. There is discipline in a lot of families, and I'm going to keep it to this country. And then there's a lack of discipline from a lot of families in this country, and there are a variety of reasons for that. So in this story, there is a paragraph that really stuck out at me. Human egos are fragile. Research has shown that the feeling of shame is associated with reduced learning and self-esteem. When people are confronted with harsh criticism, their nervous system often responds as if under attack. One of the individuals that was quoted for this, a professor at Cornell, said there's a difference between holding someone accountable and humiliating them. Melissa Swift, an organizational consultant and author, believes there is a simple reason that criticism often backfires. Quote, people get very hung up on what they're going to say to the person, Swift said, and they aren't really considering that the person needs space to say things back. Interesting. There's a lot to this story. There's a lot to the story because it is a very fragile dynamic, because in a locker room, you have a lot of athletes from different backgrounds. In many cases, different ethnicities, different countries, which means different cultures. I mean, especially the NBA, players from Europe, players from Australia, Canada, America, different cultures, right? Different ways of doing it. Maybe that individual playing over in Serbia or France or Germany was coached with a completely different set of standards, of a way of doing things that was normal there, but maybe not normal here. So there's a lot of that. Different ethnicities, different backgrounds economically. Players being raised in a nuclear family, players being raised with a completely torn apart family, right? So, I mean, there's all kinds of reasons for this. But I just find it to be a very interesting story, because where is the perfect line here? Where is it? Like, what is the right way to do things? And there is no right way to do things. That's it. There's no right way to do things. You as a coach have to be yourself. You obviously have to be somewhat conscious of how you talk to your players. And you don't want to make it personal. But humiliating the players? I mean, I've been humiliated on the athletic field by a coach. I didn't like it. I talked about the story where I was humiliated on the team bus by interim coach Rex Hughes right after a Warriors game from Oakland. I talked about that. I mean, did it have an impact on me? Even though Rex Hughes apologized to me on the bus on the way back to Sacramento, I never looked at him the same. And the reason why I never looked at him the same is if Rex just went off on me for no reason, for somebody that had no impact at all on the game, what was he doing behind the scenes? What was he doing at home with his wife? And I love Rex. And he has since passed, and I love Rex. But after that incident, with the way that he handled himself towards me, I never looked at him the same. I never had the same amount of respect for him as I had before he humiliated me on the bus. Never. So I get it. I get it. There's a difference between yelling at someone to get a point across and humiliating them. Totally different. 916-779-0929. And I would also say I've been in a lot of different situations, but it was a long time ago. When I'm talking about me personally playing sports, it's a completely different era. Like you would get hit. You would have, coaches grab your face mask and twist your head around. Seriously, like it was a different era. Can you imagine that happening now with parents watching? They would be outraged. They'd be outraged. How many coaches have lost their jobs because they've been, quote unquote, too forceful with their players? It happens all the time. We see stories all the time. It's the way it is. All right. What do you think? 916-779-0929. Rhino, do you think this is just a complete societal change? It's not just in sports?
To a degree, I would agree with you there. I would say social media makes this so much murkier, both in sports and societally.
I don't disagree with you. I think social media has had a huge impact. And I think the biggest culprit with social media is very often what you see on social media is inaccurate. And the portrayal of what actually has been going on is not credible in many instances. And if you're an athlete that is on social media and you start seeing things pertaining to you and a coach and an organization, very often they're completely not true.
Yeah, spot on. And that's where, like back in the day, if you're talking with the GM and maybe a name comes up and it's just nothing serious, just everyday business, but now that leaks out, but you don't give the player a heads up, right? Now you turn into that area of trust where you're talking about honesty is so important to these guys. And I just think it changes the game dramatically.
Yeah. It's an interesting dynamic, and I thought it was an interesting story in The Athletic. You sent it to me. I was not aware of it. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Yeah.
Because there are certain players that I've come across in my years of covering professional sports that it really doesn't matter what approach you take with them. I'll use DeMarcus Cousins as an example. They took every approach possible with him. They took the kid gloves approach. Kids glove. Is it kids gloves? They took the kids.
The white. Yeah.
They took the kids gloves approach.
There you
right?
go.
They took the harsh approach. They took the go stand in the corner. You're in a timeout approach. Okay. They took the approach of, well, we're going to bring in people that you're familiar with that have a better idea of your background. So we're going to hire your high school coach and we're going to put him on the staff. Like, they took every approach possible. And what I quickly learned and observed was there was no approach that was going to work for him, because the problem was not anything that was going on with different coaches, different general managers, different management styles. The problem was DeMarcus. And this was a problem in every single team that he went to play for. And in his last stop in Puerto Rico, it was still a problem. So you do come across athletes like that. Those athletes are few and far between, thankfully. But it really doesn't matter what approach you're going to take with them, because they're not able to handle any approach. And at the end of the day, they're not able to succeed and get their maximum out of their careers because they are their own worst enemy. And go ahead. Let me just finish one thing here.
Yeah.
And so what happens is, because of social media, and you bring up a fabulous point there, fans very rarely have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. I know that. Trust me when I say that. Many times fans don't have a clue to what's going on behind the scenes. So fans think they know what's going on as it relates to an organization and its player. And when the player continues to not achieve a certain level of expectations, or in DeMarcus's case, supremely talented, but never really achieved what he could have, many fans just blame the organization if the organization is dysfunctional. And there is some truth to that. But in this particular instance, the dysfunction of the organization had absolutely nothing to do with the issues surrounding Cousins. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that affects the rest of the team, because you see all this stuff that they're doing to try to work around it. And Deidre Snyder's quoted in the article as well, saying if you have a star on your team, everybody should be held accountable to the same rules. So that can have ripples on the rest of the players where it's like, all right, like you're going to deal with all this, and we get in trouble for doing this, or we're not getting minutes for that. It causes a divide, right?
Yeah.
It can cause a divide.
702 Grant, albeit the NBA or military culture, discipline equals freedom. Motivation is fickle. There is only hard work, late nights, early mornings, practice, rehearsal, repetition, study, sweat, blood, toil, frustration, and discipline. I think there's a lot of truth to that. And I witnessed amazing things by doing my radio show at 3 o'clock from various arenas, particularly in Los Angeles. And there were certain players that would go through unbelievable workouts. Ray Allen, okay? Ray Allen, one of the very best players through his era, NBA champion, great shooter. If the game started at 7 o'clock, Ray was on the floor every single night at 3 o'clock or at 4 o'clock. I did my show beginning at 3. If we were playing Seattle or the team he was on in Milwaukee or bought clockwork, 4 o'clock, here comes Ray Allen. And he would go through his entire repertoire. Kobe Bryant, every single time I was in LA at the Staples Center doing my show beginning at 3 o'clock, Kobe was the first one on the floor, not going 25% speed, not going 50%, not going 75%, going 100%. First one out on the floor. The dancers were still on the floor going through their practice before they went into the locker room and got made up and got ready for the evening. Kobe was the first Laker out every single time. There's a lot to be said for that. There really is. 209 weighing in. Things have shifted to a me culture instead of building for the future and the greater good of society. The more it continues, the worse off our country and society will be. Coaches can't lead out of love anymore. They have to cover their butts to keep the job. Thanks for covering the topic. There's so much to this story. There's such a diverse dynamic because we're all different. Like if you would yell at me on the athletic field, it doesn't really do anything to me. Like if I go back and use my memory, like I don't like to be yelled at, but many times it would get me going again, and it would make me realize that I'm not giving what I need to give, and I didn't want to look bad in front of my teammates. And Ryan, I think there's a lot of that too. I think if you have personal pride, like whether you're at the workplace or whether you are on an athletic field, I never wanted to look bad with the people that I was around. I always wanted to be like the best. Like I always strive to be the best. I always tried to like be at a certain level that was important to me. And if I got disciplined or a coach yelled at me, it helped me achieve that.
100%. That's how you get better. I want to be held to a standard if I'm not meeting that standard. And I never had a problem with a coach dressing me down unless it was unwarranted. And then, you mentioned earlier, fight or flight. If you get yelled at, then what are you going to do? You're probably going to yell back, especially if you're on an athletic field. But that was always, to me, the X factor. That was constructive. Hold me to the same standard that you hold everybody else to. And now it's just a little bit different. It is.
The number one issue that I've seen dividing teams in all of my decades of being around pro sports are coaches that treat players differently.
Bingo.
When you're in a locker room, whether you're the last person on the bench, on the field, or the leader, you want to have the same rules and be treated the same. And when you start treating players differently based on their status, it creates a lot of, for lack of a better term, just to understand me on the radio, hurt feelings. Okay? It's really more than that, but I'm just trying to paint the picture here. Because again, we're dealing with humans. We're dealing with emotional beings. We're dealing with a lot of egos. And when you're in a professional locker room, let's say when I was doing the games, you had 12 players on the team. The 12th player is going to practice every day. The 12th player is getting paid. The 12th player is doing all of the work that everyone else is, in many instances, more, okay? And if they're treated differently than others, it creates a lot of problems eternally, because if that player is being treated differently, so is the 11th guy, the 10th guy. And when you have a star, when you start giving star treatment to a star player, you got real problems on a team.
You just hit the nail on the head, because they're professionals. There is a level that comes to that, and they are owed a certain respect as well for that. And when you have a star that's being unprofessional, yet you have the 12th man being professional, that's a problem. That's going to rub guys the wrong way.
It was the biggest problem in the career of DeMarcus Cousins in Sacramento. And the reason why I know that is I had the players talk to me about that. I'm not going to mention their names because a lot of them are well known and I don't want to embarrass them. There was one player in particular on the team that would come up to me on a repeated basis and go, "Can you believe this guy? Can you believe this? Can you believe this situation?" It was a constant conversation of how on earth can they keep this guy? How on earth can they allow this? That was the dialogue. It was unbelievable.
Okay,
we'll continue. Go ahead.
Let me ask you one quick follow-up question on that. Did the players feel like it was being swept under the rug publicly to a degree?
In many cases, yes, absolutely. In many cases, yes. We'll get more on this. 916, give me a call or give me getting some good messages on the text line. 916-779-0929. Don't forget, Sean Salisbury coming up in the next segment. Not the next segment, but the first segment of 4 o'clock. Sean Salisbury talking college and the NFL right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Are your lights flickering more than a disco ball? Tired of your office coffee maker and server room fighting over that one working outlet? Call the pros who keep the juice flowing. Elite Power Inc. Elite Power Inc. is the commercial and industrial electrical contractor who takes your power and lighting seriously so you don't have to. Elite Power Inc. handles everything from rewiring ancient office buildings to installing cutting-edge control panels in factories. Their IBEW 340 electricians have more certifications than your printer has error messages, and they promise not to judge your breaker panel's creative labeling. Get plugged in with Elite Power Inc., where sparks fly, but only in a good way. Professionally trained technicians, 24-hour electrical service, maintenance, and repair. Project estimating, the knowledge and skill for any commercial or industrial need. Call 916-739-1580. That's 916-739-1580, or go to elitepower.com.
Hey, it's Grant Napear from my friends at DAS Mechanical. Did you know most homeowners are changing their heating and air systems from gas to all electric? It's about getting more energy efficiency and saving a lot more money every month on energy bills. If your current heating and air system is 15 years or older, it may be time to consider a change. Call DAS Mechanical first. Nearly all of DAS's work is gas to electric whole system changeouts. Nick and his team, they're experts. They also have 0% financing and 24/7 availability if you ever have a heating emergency. Award-winning, locally owned. It's DAS Mechanical, serving their Sacramento and Placer County neighbors for years. Save more on your energy bills. Call, text, or chat at 530-591-1055 to find out more, or go to dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org.
The holidays are here, and Gabrud Services is here for any electrical need or emergency. Holiday periods put more stress on your home's electrical system, more activity, more lights being used, increased appliance use, and more. Here are 3 holiday electrical reminders from the good dudes at Gabrud's. 1, there's still time for Gabrud's to inspect your home's electrical integrity. 2, Gabrud's are the experts in backup generator installation with flexible financing options to make a whole house generator affordable. And 3, Gabroots has live call answering 24/7. We're here any time of day, especially in case of an emergency. At Gabroots, electrical work is all we do. And at the holidays, we're here to ensure your home and family are safe. Locally owned for more than 30 years. Call Gabroots, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabroots, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabroots.com.
At Downtown Ford Sacramento, we're proud of our long heritage. We've consistently provided Ford cars and trucks to families and businesses in this region for over 100 years. If we think about it, practically every kid who grew up in this town at one time or another rode around in a Ford that we sold to their family. We've served multiple generations of local farmers and ranchers who got their rugged Ford trucks from us. We've also provided many of the emergency vehicles that you see out doing the people's work every day on the streets. All of us at Downtown Ford, from our top-notch service department who keep your Ford running like new, to our dedicated finance team and the guys and gals in our showroom, we thank you for generations of love and loyalty to us. And for that love, we say right back at you. We're doing Fords just like we always have. Come see us any day of the week or visit us online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
Don't forget Sean Salisbury at 4 o'clock. Our picks. What was our total? I mean, we had so many picks last week because of Thanksgiving and then the Sunday games. What did you end up?
So you were perfect on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I was 0-3 on Thanksgiving. From Black Friday to the end of Monday, you were 3-2. I was 4-1.
Wow. So overall, not bad.
Not
me,
bad.
And for you, a good bounce back after the Thanksgiving.
I think
way to mess up the holiday, buddy.
Hey man, this is the first time we have both had good weeks together.
Yes. I like that.
I know. I was wondering for a second if you were feeling okay today. You brought up those stats and those analytics.
Yeah, I was when I was doing that, I'm like, boy, Ryan's going to go, what happened to Napes, man?
Did he hit his head?
Mr. Numbers, but that's why I said Mr. Non-Numbers Napear, right?
Put that on your office door, Mr. Non-Numbers Napear.
Okay, so think about that. The difference between the Thunder and the Kings are over 27 points a game. How about that?
It's right about where it should be. The difference between the Thunder and the rest of the association right now is
27
massive.
points.
Well, Grant, it doesn't surprise me. The Kings have only held teams under 30 points in the first quarter 4 times this season.
Okay.
4.
All right, let me ask you if this surprises you, that here on December 5th, the Kings are already 9 games back of the 6th team in the West. 9.
No, because you didn't have Keegan Murray. You haven't had Domantas Sabonis. The schedule was difficult. If I'm a Kings fan, this is actually the way you want. You had 2 ways of seeing it. You either wanted an A or you wanted an F.
Yep.
So this is breaking more towards the F, meaning you're not going to be as close to purgatory as you would be like last year, where you're 9-10 seed.
I'm with you 100%. Either win or be really bad. Take your medicine. Like, to me, this year's about taking your medicine.
Yeah.
And I know Kings fans have been taking their medicine for a long time, but I think we all have a pretty good understanding of the only way this team's ever going to be a playoff team year in, year out. You must get a special player in the draft and then hope that that player, when it comes time to re-sign, wants to stay with you, right? I mean, and that they buy in. That's the only way. Right now, that player doesn't appear to be on the roster. I mean, you can say whatever you want about Max Reynaud, but I don't see him as a franchise-changing player. Nick Clifford, the jury's still out on him. Keegan, I don't think, is ever going to be a franchise player. He's not. He can be a good player, but he's not a franchise-type player. You need to get that special player. You need to get a dynamic player. And if you're Sacramento, you have bad ownership, you have a organization that everyone laughs at, and let's just call it the way it is. That's the way it is. I mean, you know it. I know it. We talk about it from the national media's perspective all the time. The only way, Ryan, is to get that stud in the draft. That's it. That's your only hope. That's how I see it. I don't see any other way. I do not see it any other way. I just don't. I do not see how the Kings are ever going to be relevant if they don't get lucky in the draft. And I know they've had luck in the draft before. I mean, look at Tyrese Halliburton. They had the guy, and they traded him. And yes, they got a good player back in return, an all-star. But I think if you ask most Kings fans right now, and again, I'm aware that Tyrese has had an Achilles injury and he's recovering, but if you ask most fans right now, would you rather have Tyrese Halliburton or Domantas Sabonis? I know what the answer would be. And it doesn't mean Sabonis isn't good. What's that? Who do we got on line one? All right. Let's get to Tim in Sacramento. Hi, Tim. How are you?
Good, Grant. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you.
Hey, you were just talking about special players. And somebody just really caught my eye. I was at a game in Sacramento about 2 weeks ago against the Atlanta Hawks. And to be honest, when I walked in that day, I'm a season ticket holder, and I honestly couldn't name 3 players on the Hawks that afternoon. But Jalen Johnson, that was my first time watching him, and we're talking special. After that game against Sacramento, I think he had 25, 10. I think he maybe even had a triple-double. Or after that, last 2 weeks, Player of the Week in the East, that's a special player, and that's somebody that the Kings are missing out on. That's what we need, not the Keegan Murray's, a Jalen Johnson-type player.
It's a great observation. And, boy, that was one of the worst games you could ever go to if you were a Kings fan, right? How pathetic was that?
Awful.
But you're right. He's a power forward. You're exactly right about Johnson. And, you know, I think he's only 23. He's already averaging when I looked a couple of days ago, he's averaging a double-double. I think it was 23 points and 10 rebounds. Let me look it up right. Yeah. Okay. He's averaging 23 points, 10 rebounds, 7.3 assists, shooting 54% from the floor. You're 100% correct.
Special. Appreciate it, Grant. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you. You do the same. Let's get to Al. Al, welcome to the show. It's Big Al. What's going on, Big Al?
Yeah, it's Big Al, Mr. Napier, sir. Yeah. No, I just wanted to get your take here. I mean, you're on track. So my buddies and I were talking. I mean, again, I'm not a Kings fan, so I try to be very objective looking. I'm thinking, okay, to kind of redo the rebuild once more for the sad Sacramento fans. What do you think you can get for some of the assets? You know, some of these contracts are deadly. So what if you were GM, who would you trade off to try and I'll assume you're going to try and get as many picks, first, seconds, or swaps. How would you do it?
Well, I can't answer that question because I don't know what other teams would be willing to give me because I don't have access to all the general managers. I mean, in a perfect world, I would love to have DeRozan gone, Levine gone. I'm not crazy about trading Sabonis, to be honest with you, but those are 2 players that you would love to be able to move, but I don't know how possible it's going to be to move Levine. I think you could move DeRozan, but I don't know what you could get back in return. I think you need to waive Russell Westbrook, let him go play somewhere else. I mean, you are going to go to the youth movement. Why do you have Russell Westbrook on the team? You don't need him. Dennis Schroeder already looks like a big-time disappointment, but I'm afraid you're not going to be able to move him now. You know, it's not an easy situation, Al.
I know. No, that's an excellent answer. Mr. Napier, that is an excellent answer. You're right. And, of course, obviously you don't know. It's, in horse trading or whatever trading you want to do, and, yeah, it takes you and the other seller, buyer, to, you have to get in there and don't do it. And then the modern day, my goodness, Grant, I mean, the monetary, the capologists, as they keep talking about all the time. I mean, it's finance 101 back at your grade school, my San Diego State. I took a finance class. It's so important.
Yeah.
And all the special rules around it. It's amazing. Okay, I just wanted to hear it. Now, you're right on. You've got it.
Have a great weekend, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yep, take care.
As we go to the break, Thanks for sharing, Grant. I know you held back on the DeMarcus Cousins situation, but it does clarify a lot to a Kings fan who is an outsider. Actually, I didn't really hold back. I really didn't. Sean Salisbury, next, talking college in the NFL, right here. The Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports Sacramento.
Looking for the perfect spot to watch the game and enjoy amazing food and drinks? Look no further than Fieldhouse American Sports Pub. Family owned and operated, Fieldhouse is passionate about creating a fun, welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Spice things up on Tuesdays with Taco Tuesday. Buy any order of our delicious tacos and get a refreshing margarita for just $6. On Wednesday, Fieldhouse features incredible drink specials. Enjoy $5 well drinks and ice cold pints all day long. Fieldhouse was voted the #1 sports bar in Sacramento. Tons of TVs, a mouth-watering menu, and daily specials. It's the perfect sports bar to catch all the action. Visit us today at 1833 Fulton Avenue. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, where the food is fantastic, the drinks are flowing, and the good times never stop. Fieldhouse, bring it to the house.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for my friends at DAS Mechanical. Did you know most homeowners are changing their heating and air systems from gas to all electric? It's about getting more energy efficiency and saving a lot more money every month on energy bills. If your current heating and air system is 15 years or older, it may be time to consider a change. Call DAS Mechanical first. Nearly all of DAS's work is gas to electric whole system changeouts. Nick and his team, they're experts. They also have 0% financing and 24/7 availability if you ever have a heating emergency. Award-winning, locally owned. It's DAS Mechanical, serving their Sacramento and Placer County neighbors for years. Save more on your energy bills. Call, text, or chat at 530-591-1055 to find out more, or go to dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Grant Napear is back every weekday afternoon, 3 to 6. This is Fox Sports, KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Hour number 2, get you ready for the weekend and a huge football weekend. Last night it began in Motown with the Lions beating the Cowboys. Of course, college football tomorrow, the NFL on Sunday and Monday. Always great when we can talk with Sean Salisbury. We moved him because of a conflict from Tuesday to today. Sean, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great, Grant. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So since I've talked to you, there's been a lot going on in college football as it pertains to Lane Kiffin. There's a lot of opinions on this. Where do you stand on everything?
I've never begrudged somebody for going out and getting theirs. I thought good on him, but I don't like the way it went down. They're never in comfortably, and I wouldn't know. I mean, he's somebody I've known, and I love the guy, but I wouldn't for a long time, a lot of years, but I would never have let him coach either. And I do like the fact that what does it hurt LSU for Charlie Weiss to go back and help the kids that he's been coaching all year? He can finish sentences for Lane and Pete, who's going to be there running the defense. And you get to go back and start where you finished. When people say, well, why wouldn't you let the head coach do it? It's different. The head coach can go recruit. He can recruit without Charlie Weiss. So I think that part of it was good, Grant. I just don't like the way it went down. Listen, players leave, coaches leave. Everybody's, I met my dream school, I met my dream job, until, of course, somebody gives you either a little more security or a lot more money. So you go. And the truth is, Lane knows and believes, and it's probably fact, even though he could have been the king and started to be the king. He'd have had a stadium named after him at some point, or a field named after him at Ole Miss. But there's a little more pressure at LSU. But in 3 years, if they don't go to the championship or find their way in the Final Four, then the shine will come off that as well. But, he could have been the king there, but he decided that the place for him to win a national championship, and we'll see if he can do it, the recruiting base is going to be just a little bit different. And Ole Miss will be fine, but and so will Lane, whether he wins one or not, Grant, but he'll have better opportunity recruiting. The money and the opportunity to go coach at a place where you can win a national title, which most of us think you could probably get there quicker at LSU, even with the build he had at Ole Miss.
I'm thinking about tomorrow and the championship games, and I'm wondering if Alabama, who started off the year with that loss to Florida State, and Kellen DeBoer was like on a big-time hot seat early on in year number 2, and what did they do? They run the table. But, if Alabama loses tomorrow and BYU wins, we might not see Alabama in the college football playoff. And could you just imagine the dynamic? Now, think about that. Think about Alabama's season. Think about where they are right now. And yet, if they lose and BYU wins, they might not be in the college football playoff. And then I wonder what the narrative is going to be in Tuscaloosa.
Well, Grant, I can tell you this. If they lose and BYU wins, Alabama's not making the playoff. It's not a matter. That'd be 3 losses. They got beat in the conference championship, because then you're going to get the loud scream yell from, even though they're ranked higher, that people say, well, 3-loss team, come on, and you got beat by Georgia, even though they beat Georgia head-to-head earlier this year, is Sark and Texas are going to say, whoa, wait a second now. We got 3 losses, but 3 of our wins are against top 10 teams. Then we'll yell, well, why don't lose to Florida, right? So it goes, constantly, and
good point.
The teams that we, so you'll go, but I don't think, Grant, it's feasible. Now think about this. We talk about blue blood programs. If both BYU and Georgia win, there is not Oregon, but if BYU and Georgia win, that Alabama and Notre Dame are not going to the playoff.
Yeah, good point.
And I still think there's a chance right now that and they deserve to be in it, that Miami is going to jump Notre Dame this weekend. I think that there's a legitimate chance that'll happen, because Cristobal made some great points. Either way, if BYU wins and Georgia wins, and that could very well happen because Texas Tech manhandled BYU the first time. So if they do go, I don't think either Georgia. I think Georgia and Notre Dame, not Georgia, but Alabama and Notre Dame. Neither one of them will be playing it.
If you could only watch one game tomorrow, which one are you choosing?
Ooh, that's a great question, Grant. Let's see. The Alabama-Georgia game, I feel like that'll be nice and physical. I'm really intrigued with the BYU-Texas Tech game, because Texas Tech, they got after them early in the first game around and showed they're physical. And BYU they were overwhelmed. I think that's going to be a fun game. Texas Tech's in no matter what, but for what's on the line. But it's probably, I'm trying to think what I'm missing here, Grant. But you know what the crazy thing about this is with the Ohio State Indiana game, nobody even talked. We got 1 versus 2, and it's the least talked about game of this championship. The Ohio State Indiana game. Ray, you listen to shows even on ours, oh, by the way. Now I think some people think they're going to boat race them, that Ohio State's going to put it on them, but I think Indiana's quarterback's pretty good. I'm trying to think what I've left out. I guess I'm intrigued.
Well, can I just follow up on that for a minute? Can I follow up on that for a second? All right. So we talk about number 1 and number 2, and I'm with you. Like, it's almost as if they're not even playing. I think this is the biggest game in the history of Indiana football. But I would also say this. I acknowledge Ohio State, when you look at their roster, is a wow. I acknowledge that they won it all last year. They are a football factory, and I get all of that. But when I look at Ohio State's schedule this year, I don't really know how good they are. They haven't played anybody.
Right, and by not losing any, by winning all these games, Grant, as you and I both know, it's kind of like you haven't knocked the champ out, right? And their reputation because of talent, but they've left balls on the ground. You're exactly right. I heard somebody asked me today, well, Indiana's not seen Ohio State's defense, and I said, and you know what? Ohio State hadn't seen this quarterback either.
That's a great point.
This guy, they haven't seen anybody that's watched this guy under duress.
That's a good point.
Football. If they keep him upright, I'm telling you what, Ohio State better not blink, because he can put it in windows and he may be the first pick of the draft. So you make a great point too. Obviously, anytime you get 2 SEC rivals going at it, Grant, I love that game, right? I'm looking forward to tonight's game with the North Texas game. I really am. I think it's going to be fun watching them and Tulane get after it, and with both their coaches are on their way. But for me in the playoff, I always love a Kirby Smart team, but I'm intrigued the BYU game, and obviously to see if Indiana, because if they hold up and Cignetti pulls this one off, and you're right about the biggest game in their history, if he pulls this off, this is crazy. And both teams are going to probably be in the playoff position where the home field advantage, or the bye, should I say, regardless. But it's been a hell of a season. I'm actually intrigued to see if their offense can keep up with Ohio State's defense.
And for those of you that are commenting, I'm fully aware that Ohio State played Texas, who was ranked number 1 in week 1. I'm fully aware of that. But the reality is Texas was not worthy of a number 1 ranking, and Texas didn't really get their season in full gear until it was really too late, and they're 9-3 right now, and there's a reason why they're 13th in the country, and there's a reason why they were unranked for a couple of weeks in the season. So I get that. Yeah, I'm curious.
Grant, real quick with that, Grant, and just to hang on with that with you as well as pile on is they after you saw them, we thought, okay, maybe they're really good. Just kind of like we thought Clemson was going to be good. Just kind of like we thought LSU was going to be good after the, not Clemson after the first week, but going in LSU. But the Longhorns were overrated at that point in time. Talented, yes, but they went through 5 or 6 games, even when they were beating, lower division teams. They weren't playing good football, and the quarterback wasn't playing well. They pick it up, they're good. But at that time, Ohio State, the hype was bigger than the talent or the production for Texas at that time. But I do understand why people would say it. Listen, Ohio State still does belong at number 1. Yes. Now the real test begins. So I get it 100%. But Indiana can play, make no mistake.
Before I get to the NFL, I know where you stand on this, and we're the same generation, and I think we feel pretty much the same way. But there was a big story in The Athletic by Rustin Dodd, and the topic was, how do you hold a star athlete accountable, asking those who have tried and failed? And I think it's a societal change. We saw the head coach for the Arizona Cardinals, Gannon, get fined $100,000 earlier in the year because he yelled at a player on the sideline. I mean, good Lord. But the narrative, that the topic of the story was like how coaches deal with their star athletes because they're overly sensitive. We got social media and all of that. But it really is a societal change. I know you think we're soft as a country. I agree. I think we've gone overboard on this. What do you think? I mean, you've been on a lot of teams. You've been in a lot of locker rooms. I've never enjoyed being around a professional locker room where one player gets treated differently than the others. Yours?
Well, 100%, especially when it comes to the rules of it, Grant. Listen, you're not treating the Troy Aikman or Marino like you would the backup when it comes to on-field snaps and how you coach them. You know what I'm saying? There's no doubt about it. But when it comes to, and here's why I laugh when they say, well, I'm not, you can't have the rules the same for Aikman as you would his backup quarterback or some wide receiver. And the answer there is you don't have to worry about Aikman being late. You don't have to worry about him falling asleep in a meeting. So those guys we never talk about, right? Warren Moon's showing up on time. So for me, Grant, the the player empowerment, it's been overboard for a while. And now we get it where guys, want to go there. It's happening with, with Darius Slay now, Pittsburgh. I'm not going there. I want out, goes out. Buffalo picks him up on the waiver wire. Well, I don't want to play there. Maybe I'll quit until, they tried to force the hand and we let him. I'm always going to be old school on this. Do I believe you got to be able to adapt and adjust? Yeah. But if you're late to a meeting, and I hear these stories all the time, Grant, I have stories that players that have been along, even when, the broadcast crew, guys will share stuff with you. And when they were playing, about some of the stories in certain players that guys 3 days a week missing. You never heard about it, missing and not falling asleep in meetings and not going to meetings and laying in their truck during meetings and not being held accountable. See, the first time it happens, you're done. If everybody knows, even if it's a star, letting that guy show up late, but the other three don't. So to me, I've been on teams that have, we'll have some fun and the stars are really good. But when it said be out on time, everybody was out on time. You didn't get treated different. And I think that, yes, athletes are more sensitive. Yes, they make more. When you're making more or three times more than the coach, I guess they're probably going to get rid of the coach before you. But in my situation, I'm not sure I could do it right now because of the fact that if you don't cater to them, you're the one to go. And you do have to adapt and adjust, Grant. You do. You got to be able to be a little more flexible because of training camp and the rest of it. When it comes to the solid rules about how you treat teammates, how hard we work, how you talk to your coaches and your teammates, the respectful way. I don't know why we've let it go because it's like an 8-carat diamond ring. Once you show me that one, it's hard to go back to cubic zirconia. So it's like NIL. How are we going to get back to normalcy? And yes, we are at a time now when the guys kind of just do what they want. But when coaches get trampled, it's not about liking, it's about respecting. And it goes both ways, player to coach, coach to player, and organization. I think it's out of hand. And to me, it's just getting worse. And we see stories of it every week, whether it's spitting on a player, showing up late, falling asleep, not hustling on a route, jogging down, standing by the other bench when you call timeout, when you're bringing the ball up the floor. The Lakers are playing the Clippers as if, well, I can kind of do what I want. It's top to bottom, and we have way too much of it. And I don't know if I could adapt that much to where it's, you're a star. Yeah, we got to kiss your rear end and make sure you're always happy and you can show up when you want. Nah, I don't live there, man. I don't even want to rent space there, Grant, but it's an everyday thing in sports now.
Sean Salisbury, our guest here on Fox Sports Sacramento. The one thing I know about you, your love for football, but more importantly, your love of trying to see young people achieve their goals. You've worked with many outstanding quarterbacks in this country, and I see that you are now part of the National Scouting Report as the National Football Director. Congratulations. What is that all going to entail for you?
Thanks. Grant, you'll love this. I love evaluating players, and the company NSR is great. 45 years, and when they get the people under their wing, they place 98% of these kids who don't know about schools. There's scholarship money. You want to keep playing basketball, women's volleyball, soccer, and that's what we do. I'm in charge of football, but national football, but all sports in Texas, and making sure that these kids, whether it's scoring, on the SAT and making sure they take it and evaluating them, not just asking them to fill out a questionnaire. So they're able to talk to coaches all over the country, big schools, small schools. There's money and there's scholarships, and there's a lot of kids, because the way recruiting's changed, don't get recruited like these. Hell, we got 3 and 4 stars, Grant, that don't have a place to play. That never used to happen because I'm going to get a JUCO, I'm going to get a guy, then I'll go back into the portal, and they're getting left out. But there's also NIA schools in Division II, Division III. You know this, Grant. There's great sports played everywhere. And all of a sudden you wake up and you're playing Division II golf and they paid $120,000 for you because, well, you scored well in the ACT. The thing about this is that we try to make sure that when we evaluate them and they're under the umbrella of the company, we stay with them all the way through high school and until they're done with college, to assist them in scholarship or transfer or finding places for them. If they're college worthy and if they want to play. How I got it, and I'll be real quick, Grant, when I was done with the morning show and doing my podcast and all the other things that we're doing, my significant other turned in a resume just on LinkedIn. I didn't even know. I knew who the company was because all the years I trained quarterbacks, I've met these guys at camps, never met anybody there, but know who they are. They got a great reputation. So they called, saw the resume, and the CEO called after he saw it. And the story, he said, well, we got to interview him. That he looks exactly like we need to expand and the bandwidth and, just the resume. And then I interviewed within 3 days. I had them all with the CEO and the other boss was on the phone, and they offered me the job.
I love it.
We talked and had great long conversations. So, they know I care about the kids, but I also care about doing it right, which kind of ties into empowerment.
Yeah.
But there's too many kids that are missing out on scholarships and opportunities to continue to play because it shouldn't just be D1 or bust. There's a lot of great places to play, and it's going to be my job to help bridge that gap and help get them opportunities. But it was weird because I didn't even know it was coming, and when they did it and it's turned out to perfection, what a blessing in my lap, man. So I'm glad.
I know somebody that's getting a really good Christmas present this year in your house, okay?
Well, what do you mean? A present?
You said your significant other is the one that...
She's getting everything. Yeah, she's getting everything, man. It's not just a present. Yeah. When you look over the tree, it's good, man, there's gifts under the tree, and there's this, there's that. Sean, where's yours? I didn't get any this year. I got out of the doghouse by making sure I did it the right way. So, yeah, man, it's one of those things. I was thinking, am I going to do more radio? What do I want to do? And I can still do that. But this came out, and I thought, a chance to make a difference, Grant. So,
I love it.
Here you go.
That's what you're all about, man.
We can help these kids out. Yep. Thank you.
Hey, before I let you go, I mentioned this on the radio yesterday. You talk about not a lot of people are talking about Ohio State and Indiana. There aren't enough people talking about the team where you're at, the Houston Texans. I'm buying them right now. I'm always looking for teams at this time of the year that have momentum. They play defense, I think, better than anybody in the NFL. I like the fact that they're well coached. Their quarterback, to me, looks like the guy that I watched this rookie year. I'm buying the Houston Texans. Am I crazy?
No, you're not. Just as long as they can get some help. And Jacksonville and the Colts play this weekend, so one of those is going to get their fifth loss to go to, I think, 8-5. So they're hanging around, Grant. They are playing really good football. I'm with you. I haven't seen a better defense in the league this year from top to bottom, back into the line, to the pass rush and linebackers. They're really good. They'll be in every game. And getting Stroud back and Mills doing what a backup's supposed to do. And, Grant, for me, they're getting more physical on the offensive line, and they're running the ball with Woody Marks as a rookie. He's going to be the bell cow back through this. So if they can beat Kansas City, look out, because they're going to gain a game on one of those two. Now, it won't be easy in Kansas City, but they're weapons, and they're starting to – Nick Caley, the coordinator, you start to see him – he's starting to create bandwidth. They're starting to get a little clever, push the ball, keep the quarterback upright, keep playing defense. They'll be in it. We're going to find out if the Kansas City Chiefs have their bags packed. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but after all these years of great success, Grant, you can say, okay, I'll see you in 2026. We're going to find out just how into it they are. I would expect them to play a great game, knowing how Andy Reid and Mahomes are. And on the other side, Texans can't afford to lose this, because then it would put the Colts 3 games in front. But the way they're playing in the South, yeah, I buy them too, Grant. I just hope that an early slow start doesn't put them in a major bind and they miss out late in December.
Well, I always look at matchups, and the Chiefs are now down their left tackle. Their right tackle may not play, their right guard. There's no way a patched-up offensive line, to me, Patrick Mahomes or not, are going to succeed against that defense. I don't like this matchup at all from Kansas City's perspective. Number one, they're not playing well, and with a beat-up offensive line against this defense, oh boy, it's not looking good.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I'm just wondering, this time of year, we know who the Chiefs have been the last decade.
Yeah, I know.
But Grant, you also know when you get to a point, you can give me all the history you want. If the legs ain't good and you're not moving and you're getting physically punched in the face, you could surrender sooner. We're going to find out about that. This is a sneaky game it's not sneaky as far as it goes for the season, but the truth of the matter is we got 2 teams that are fighting for their playoff lives, and either one that loses is going to be in a very, very difficult circumstance.
Appreciate you, and I'm proud of you, man. Congratulations on the new gig. I hope it goes very well, and I know where you're going to be. You're going to be in front of your TV the entire weekend, so enjoy, my friend.
Yes, I am. I will, and thank you, Grant. I'm going to do my best for him. You know that. I'm going to give every ounce I can to the job. I promise you that. So
There's no doubt in my mind.
It's a nice compliment, brother. All right, love you, brother. Well. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Appreciate you, man. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Good stuff, Sean Salisbury, right here. Also, good stuff, actually great stuff, great business is DAS Mechanical. Hey, did you know that most homeowners are changing their heating and air systems from gas to all electric? That's right. It's about getting more energy efficiency and saving a lot more every month on energy bills. If your current heating and air system is 15 years old or more, you know what? It may be time to consider a change. Call DAS Mechanical first. Get in touch with them. Nearly all of DAS work is gas to electric, whole system change out. Nick Delancey, the owner, and his team, they're experts. That's what they specialize in. They're awesome. And remember, They also have 0% financing available and 24/7 availability if you ever have a heating emergency. Award-winning, locally owned, DAS Mechanical, serving their Sacramento and Placer County neighbors for years. Save more on your energy bills. Get in touch with DAS Mechanical. D as in dog, A-S as in Sam, mechanical.org. You can book everything right online. You can look at all of their 5-star reviews and their numerous best of the best awards. That's dasmechanical.org. When we return, we'll open up those phone lines, get to some text messages. 916-779-0929. Don't forget our football picks coming up to close the show next hour right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
At Downtown Ford Sacramento, we're proud of our long heritage. We've consistently provided Ford cars and trucks to families and businesses in this region for over 100 years. If we think about it, practically every kid who grew up in this town at one time or another rode around in a Ford that we sold to their family. We've served multiple generations of local farmers and ranchers who got their rugged Ford trucks from us. We've also provided many of the emergency vehicles that you see out doing the people's work every day on the streets. All of us at Downtown Ford, from our top-notch service department who keep your Ford running like new, to our dedicated finance team and the guys and gals in our showroom, we thank you for generations of love and loyalty to us. And for that love, we say right back at you. We're doing Fords just like we always have. Come see us any day of the week or visit us online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
The holidays can be a time of increased stress for those struggling with opioid or stimulant use disorder. Complex family dynamics, financial strain, and cultural expectations can weigh heavily and become a tipping point for those battling the physical and mental effects of addiction. But the holidays can also be a time for pause, reflection, opportunity, and new beginnings. They're a chance to take stock of what we have and are thankful for, to remember what's most important to us, and to consider what we can change. The holidays are a time of hope. So this holiday season, choose treatment and recovery. Embrace the support and company of family and friends, and create special moments. Get started by finding a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at choosechangeca.org. Find a proven treatment option that's right for you. Recover you at choosechangeca.org. That's choosechangeca.org.
Always love talking to Sean Salisbury. All right, so here's the dilemma that you have tomorrow, and maybe the lack of a buildup for number one versus number two, Ryan, in college football. So you got Ohio State ranked number one. You got Ohio State ranked number two. Do you believe that the lackluster talk relating to this game is the fact that people realize that even the loser is going to be in the playoffs, so that don't make too much out of this game? Do you think that's part of it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at last year, the Ohio State-Michigan game. It was a good thing that Ohio State won that game. It reset them. But the fact that they're going to be at the top of the bracket and having a bye either way takes away from the luster. Unless, Grant, you're an Indiana fan. This is the biggest game, as you said earlier, they've ever had in football.
Yeah. Do you believe in momentum? Because I'm a big believer in momentum. I do think it's important at this time of the year.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I'm a huge believer in momentum, but I'm also a believer that sometimes it's good to have a quick reset. I think that can help a team as well.
Well, it's kind of nice to take the field if you're Ohio State or Indiana, knowing that even if you lose, you're still going to be in a position to win a national championship.
Yeah. What's the number one goal besides winning the game? Coming out healthy, right, Napes?
Yeah. Well, if you're going to go by that, what would happen if a coach, let's say the game looks like it's not going your way. You don't want to get humiliated, but would you then pull your stars off the field?
I think you have to think about it, don't you?
Yeah, because there's no way that the loser of this game, regardless of the score, there's no way that they're not going to be one of the top 12 teams. They're going to be.
And if you're doing that, you're also looking at what everybody else has done around you, right? Did everything go chalk? Did somebody win a conference championship that wasn't supposed to, because you might not want to run into a certain team, or you may want to run into a team being how you project whatever the rankings are going to be in your building.
If I could only watch one game tomorrow, I'm watching Alabama, Georgia. That's the game I'm going to watch. I will watch the other games, but that's the one personally that I'm going to watch. Do you have a game that you're dialed in, or are you already looking towards Sunday?
Yeah, I know what to expect with Alabama, Georgia, SEC title game, Georgia Dome. I don't know what to expect with Ohio State, Indiana.
Yeah, it's true.
Damon Bruce has been on, loves IU, from IU. He's really chronicled the season well, and it truly feels like, although the rankings don't reflect it, it's David versus Goliath. It kind of feels like that Boise State versus forget who they played in that game, but not the Sun Bowl.
I love
the Fiesta Bowl. Excuse me.
Yep. And just for those that are like Damon Bruce, he's the Bay Area personality. Does a great job on his podcast now. My bad. I should have gotten him on. You know what? I'll get him on when Indiana plays in the playoffs, because he's, as you said, he's dialed in on Indiana.
All
for sure.
over it. Yeah.
He is all over it. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. Don't forget, tomorrow, after the Kings and the Heat game, we'll be on YouTube. If you don't like that, Jerry Reynolds, Ryan in Sacktown, and myself with the post-game show, as the Kings are waiting for the Miami Heat, who are in Orlando tonight. So you're getting the Miami Heat on the second night of a back-to-back. I don't even think it matters anymore. Like, I'm not, I don't know about you, but my focus has completely shifted in the last week in terms of I shouldn't really say that. A couple of weeks ago, I said I'm looking at this team to be more competitive. I'm looking at how they play as my barometer, more so than whether they win or lose. I mean, I'm not expecting the Kings to win tomorrow, but I want to see them compete. And my biggest issue is there have been too many games this year where I haven't seen them compete for 4 quarters. They might compete like they did the other night in Houston for 2 quarters, and then you get your doors blown out 70-43 in the second half. That's not, I'm just looking for more consistency as opposed to wins and losses. I don't know about you, but that's how I'm judging this team right now.
Yeah, and I'm judging it by if the young guys are playing or not, because that changes the fan base's perception on this team. If you've got the old guy, or I shouldn't say old guys, the veterans out there, excuse me, DeMar and Zach and everybody else. But if you have the veterans out there and you're not getting that compete level, then you're really annoyed at that point. That it's a different loss when you lose that way versus the guys being on the court that might be making mistakes, turning the ball over, but they're running after their turnover. I've never seen Keon Ellis, Neek Clifford, Max Reynaud, any of those guys dog it. So when you see effort, I'm okay with it. That's what I judge it by. And as Coach Christie, as you said yesterday, maybe this is the transition to the youth movement.
I am looking forward to seeing Davion Mitchell play tomorrow for the Heat. Already in the first 7 minutes of this game, he has 4 points and 4 assists. Although the Heat are trailing, they're playing without Tyler Hero tonight, out with what they call toe irritation. I don't know what that means for tomorrow.
Toe irritation.
Banchero is back for the Magic. They've started to find themselves. That was one of the teams that I was really high on, Rhino, at the beginning of the year, and I thought that you would have them near the very top of the East. Well, after a dismal start, they've now won 7 of 10 games, and I still think they're going to be right near the top of the East when it's all said and done, if they remain relatively healthy.
I'm with you, and they went through a transition bringing Desmond Bane in.
Yes.
And they are starting to come together and playing like that team that you expected, and everybody's playing those roles. And you know who has stepped up huge, Grant, is Anthony Black.
Yes.
He is really taking control over that team and shown that he is not afraid to take a big shot, and he
That's
can
right.
make that big shot as well.
Yeah. They are a team that is good on paper, and now they look good on the court. And the thing I like about Anthony Black, he's only 21. He's young.
Yeah. They're a team that has, in contrary to when they play in the Golden One Center and shoot the 3-ball lights out, they're a team that likes to go towards the hoop. They're a team that likes to grind you for 24 seconds every single possession. Yeah. So it's one of those games, Grant, that you played Orlando when they play the right way.
The only thing about Black that he's got to get better at, his free throw shooting is terrible. It's like near 66, 67, 68%. So that has got to get better. It's not that's an issue. You've got to get that percentage up. But at age 21, listen, I look at the Orlando Magic and I look at their lineup.
Yeah.
And I look at their depth. I think they're going to be a top 3 team when it's all said and done in the East. I think they're going to be top 3.
Yep, I'm with you. And this one might grind your gears a little bit just because of the situation that Sacramento has it. The guard position in the logjam, Tristan Da Silva, who was a 4-year guy in college. He's a long wing.
Out of Colorado. Yep.
He is playing that prototypical wing position and playing it well that Jerry's talked about, that you've talked about, and the Kings could have had him. They could have had him. He was right there.
Yep. I just right now I'm bringing up his numbers. Hang on. All right, here it is. He's averaging 11 points, 4 rebounds, shooting 47%. All right. And very good free throw shooter at 81%. Very good percentage from the floor. Very good 3-point percentage, nearly 39%. Yeah, there's a lot to like there.
He can almost guard every position in year 2, which is
that is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, again, 916-779-0929 from the 916. Do I think that college football should be 16 teams? No, I don't, and here's the reason. Because the goal of a football playoff, and I'm not even going to go to the 64-team field in college basketball, how many of the current teams that are ranked, or that will be, if we can project, in the college football playoff, how many of the 12 will actually be capable of winning the championship? And to me, it's only a handful. So, why do you want to expand it to 16 to have meaningless games played? That's the way I'm looking at it. I don't think that your teams near the bottom are going to be able to win a national championship. So to answer your question, no, I don't think you need 16 teams. I don't see the point in that. I think they needed to expand from 4. They hit on 12. That's better than 4. Is it ideal? There is no ideal situation, in my opinion. It's just not. Okay? There's nothing that is going to, that's a perfect formula. There's no perfect formula. The perfect formula, it doesn't exist, okay? It does not exist. 916-779-0929. Again, Ohio State and Indiana, 1 and 2. The loser will be in. Alabama's got a loss to Oklahoma at home. Lost week 1. They have to win to get in, probably. Notre Dame, are they going to be in? The team that Ryan adores and loves. Will Rudy's team get in? What do you think, Rhino?
Everything needs to go chalk for Notre Dame to get in.
Yep.
What you said yesterday about the schedule is a little bit bothersome. You would have liked to see them blow out Stanford by a little bit more, but we'll see.
So, yes or no, you're going to be seeing Notre Dame in the playoffs. Come on, let's go.
Yes,
you
will.
Give it to me.
You will see Notre Dame in the playoffs, and you will not see me in a Rudy jersey.
No? Okay.
So,
what happens if you get an opportunity, someone says, Ryan, I love you, man. You're doing a great job. I want you to be my guest at the game.
Oh, my gosh. I'm checking my miles on Southwest as quick as possible. Then I'm hitting up Pops. Hey, Pops, you got a lot of miles there as a pilot. What can you do?
Maybe he could fly you.
Yeah, maybe he could. My brother is a pilot now. So
really?
He has his, have different certifications.
Yes, of course.
So it'll only take with the airplane he flies, we could probably get there in 2 days, I think. 2.5 days. Yeah.
Wow, you flying backwards?
I think it's a single prop. So you got to stop and refuel. Doesn't go nearly as fast. Take the scenic route.
Yeah, I don't think that would be too much fun.
I'd be down. I grew up in some of those airplanes. We used to take those trips.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Not that far, but like up and down the California coast. It's a fun trip.
916-779-0929. Why don't we pause? We'll come back. We'll wrap up hour number 2. Don't forget Grant's Rant at 5 o'clock. Our football picks next hour as well, right here on Fox Sports Sacramento. Hey, it's Grant Napear for Village Financial Group. I have known broker owner Spencer Grimmenstein for 25 years, ever since he began his family-owned business. Whether it's a home equity line of credit or buying or selling a home, Spencer is a very creative financing specialist with access to private money. Check out Village Financial Group at bfgloans.com or call Spencer at 916-805-4868. Be sure and call for the investor special. And if you go to their website, bfgloans.com, you can find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. Folks, Spencer is awesome. Trust me. Again, I've known the guy since 2000. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Call 916-805-4868.
Tired of the same old routine? Need a place where the beer flows and the good times roll? Then head to Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Family owned and operated, so you know you'll feel right at home. Catch all your favorite games on 18 big screens while enjoying amazing food. And with 28 beers on tap, you're sure to find something you love. And don't miss everyday happy hour from 3 to 7 and again from 10 till close. Looking for more than just the game? Trivia Tuesday starts at 7 p.m. And there's Mario Kart and bingo nights for even more fun, too. There's always a blast happening at Fieldhouse. Whether you're looking for a place to watch the game, grab a bite with the family, or just unwind with friends, Fieldhouse is the place to be. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Bring it to the house.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country, and your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Grant's Rant. Coming up in the next segment, our football picks. On my social media, Napes, I need a getaway after the holidays. Where can you recommend that I travel to? I want warm
not cold. I need inexpensive, not expensive. Wow. All right. Okay. So here's what I would recommend. Book an economy ticket since money is, all right, you have a lot of options. Go to Vietnam. Go to Da Nang, Vietnam, right on the sea. It is spectacular. All right. It is unbelievably inexpensive. You can get a beautiful, and I'm not exaggerating, a beautiful Airbnb with a deluxe ocean view with a pool for $30 or $40 a night. Or if you want to stay in one of the beachfront hotels, you can stay for $50 a night in a very modern, beautiful hotel. Food, you can easily live on $10 to $15 a day with food, easily. No problem. It is beautiful. If you like the beach, they have restaurants on the beach, bars on the beach, clubs on the beach. Then you can make various side trips from there. You can go to Hoi An, which is a incredible, just, you got to see it. It's just, it's unbelievable. It's about 45 minutes. You can rent a driver, hire a driver, not rent. Like, it's a joke. You can have a driver take you there 45 minutes. They'll wait 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours. It will cost you $20. All right. You can go to the longest cable car in the world, which you wouldn't think is in Vietnam. You would think it's in the Alps somewhere. The largest cable car gondola ride in the world, up to a place called Ba Na Hills. Go see the Golden Hands Bridge. You can Google it, the Golden Hands Bridge. It's pretty amazing. I've done that. So, I mean, you can do that half-day trip. You don't want to go for a full day. Again, hire a driver, cost you very little. It's no sweat. Buy your tickets online ahead of time. Easy. That way you don't have to wait in line when you get there. It's pretty amazing. Just go check it out. All right. So if you're asking me what I would do, if you want to go somewhere different, warm, inexpensive, because if you want to go inexpensive, that's going to rule out, like, you can't go to Hawaii. All right. You're not going to Hawaii on a low budget. You're not going to the Caribbean on a low budget. You're not going to Europe. All right. So if you really want to go to a fun place that's beautiful, where the people are incredible, the food is great, the weather's great, the sea is amazing, there you go. Go to Da Nang, go to Vietnam. And if you don't, and then, if you really want to spread it up and you want nightlife and you want craziness, go to Ho Chi Minh City. You can fly right from Da Nang, Ho Chi Minh City, go there. Again, inexpensive and fun, right? Warm. Shorts, T-shirt, short sleeves. Again, inexpensive. That's what I would recommend. The travel segment with Napes. Rhino, I should do a travel segment a little more often, huh?
Yeah, you should. That was pro bono. Excellent.
Yeah.
Travel agent advice. You've booked people's vacations before.
I have planned people's entire vacations. Yes, that is correct. Yeah. I haven't actually booked them. I've told them how to book it, but I have given them all the details that they need. Sure. Absolutely.
It's a good friend right there.
Easy to do. I like it. Easy to do.
So okay. Yeah. So you're paying mostly for the airline ticket to Vietnam. That's the
but it's not that much. I mean, you can do an economy ticket. You could probably find a fare if you wait until after January 15th. The fares come down probably $1,000 to $1,100 round trip.
Okay. Any domestic recommendations?
Domestic vacations that are inexpensive. The United States is really an incredible country in terms of scenic and beauty and everything. But I'm sure there are places you could go that would be fun, that wouldn't cost an arm and a leg. But right now in 2025, I'm not really sure where that would be. Seriously.
Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating.
Well, it's the lodging part of it.
Exactly. That's my point. Yeah. So unless you want to camp out in it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
It's the lodging. And again, you can go to Vietnam, and I mean this. This is not an exaggeration. You can go to Airbnb, and you can just put in Da Nang, and you will be blown away at the beautiful luxury apartments, condos, villas that you can get for very little. I'm not when I say $25, $30, $35 a night, I'm not like thinking of a dump. No, you're gonna walk into this place and you're gonna be, wow. You're not gonna believe it.
So if I wanted a primo dinner, like a Bennett's Prime New York steak, the shrimp cocktail, the whole shebang in Vietnam, how much am I looking at?
Probably
price-wise?
$15 to $20 max.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Now, if you want seafood, they have seafood restaurants everywhere where all of the seafood is in the tanks. And I'm talking about every type of seafood you can name, from Alaskan king crab legs to sea bass to shrimp to snapper and then you literally go pick out what you want to eat and they cook it for you. Other than the crab legs, which are very expensive there because obviously for the shipping and everything else, that's also relatively inexpensive to get fresh fish and a fillet and everything else. I mean, it's pretty amazing. It is pretty amazing. And it's, I never thought that I would enjoy it as much as I did when I went there, but the people were great. The night markets are phenomenal. They have a bridge in Da Nang called the Dragon Bridge. You should Google it. On the weekends, the Dragon's Mouth lights up with fire. All right. And the bridge, which is a spectacular piece of architecture, is changing colors repeatedly. And you sit there at the night market on the river and you look at this bridge and you see the fire coming out of the Dragon's Mouth. You should Google it. It's the Dragon Bridge in Da Nang, Vietnam. It's pretty cool.
I'm looking at it. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah. Right on the river. You have dinner cruises if you want to go on the river. There's a night market right there at the base of the bridge, which is unbelievable. So you can go to a night market, right? And like you can have every type of food known to mankind in this night market. And I mean lobster, beef, like you name it. And you can eat for like what you would do in America, pennies on the dollar. And it's really good. Really good.
Don't you need a local though to kind of tell you which stands to go towards and the ones to stay away from?
No.
All right.
I've never had a local tell me where to go or do anything no. It's just you look, you walk around, you get what you want. And I've always used this philosophy when I travel. Are there people in the restaurant or not? Are there people at this stand or not? No, I'm serious. It's common sense, right?
Yeah.
So like if you have 3 restaurants next to each other and 2 are really busy and one's not, well, what does that tell you?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, again, San Diego State did not offer Common Sense 101.
All right, here's one for you from the 530. Hey, Grant, I'm an average cyclist. Thailand is one of the best places to ride a bike safely, especially in certain areas. I want to travel there next year. I know nothing about travel overseas. I have a weird question. Are the toilets Americanized, or are they like in the ground where you have to squat over them or anything? I have to be aware of it when it comes to this not being Americanized. In Thailand, it's very, to use your term, Americanized. Not a problem. Not a problem. As far as riding a bike in Thailand, I wouldn't ride one in Bangkok, but in other parts of Thailand, I would agree with you. It is incredibly safe. And there are many beautiful islands you can go to. You can ride a bike. And again, it would be very safe.
You know what? In the last time something like this came out of my mouth, it happened. I need to start a GoFundMe for a pilot episode of a travel show that follows you around.
Oh.
You know, like kind of a Bourdain style. You could throw a sports twist into it.
Yeah. All right. So here's what I do. If I'm overseas, like when I was in Thailand for 2 months, I went to a few islands and I would rent a motorbike. I would normally stay depending on the size of the island, 4 to 7 days, right? You could rent a really nice motorbike for the entire week for $50, like the entire week. I'm talking about a really nice motorbike. And I would go and I'd be on the road and I would see like a dirt path or a road, and I would go down there and I would have no idea where I was going. And I would end up in some of the most amazing, beautiful places on earth. I mean, beaches with a tiny little bar serving beverages and food that they cook right in front of you for like a couple of bucks. Like the beauty, I always do that without knowing where I'm going. And you have no fear, because even if you go to an area that you don't have to go to, you're not going to get shot. You're not going to have somebody come out and rob you. You know, like it doesn't even enter your mind. It's not like that. And so that's what I like to do. I like to get on a bike and I like to just go down roads and paths and places where I have no idea where I'm going to see where it takes me to. I do that all the time.
It's pretty cool. Love that.
I've had some of the most amazing experiences doing that. It's phenomenal. Love it. Love it. I went to a place on an island called, well, it's pronounced Guh, but the American Kojum, Jum. And they have a bar restaurant there that is down this, like you wouldn't even think you could, you just, so I went down there because I saw a sign on the road saying the Rock Terrace, I think it was the Rock Terrace Cafe. And you come and like, you're like, okay, there's nobody here. Like there's nobody there. It's like, and it's like a couple of structures, and it doesn't even look like a restaurant or anything, but there's a sign there that says Rock Cafe, Rock Terrace Cafe, whatever. So I start walking around. There's dogs out there, and again, they don't come up to you, but they bark. All of a sudden, this guy comes out, say, "Swati Cup." And I use the term in my mouth, like eating, you know, like fork, knife. He points the finger at me. We walk down this path, and we come out on this ledge that is wooden planks with chairs on the platform overlooking the water. And then he provides a menu. And like, I'm like, it was like the most unbelievable experience sitting there with the beauty where nobody around in a place that I would have never known existed if I didn't go down this road. It's pretty amazing to experience stuff like that. It really is. I love doing that.
Well, you're doing it with no expectations, right?
Yeah, I have no expectations. Yeah. And very rarely am I disappointed when I do that. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, I'll tell you what else is pretty cool and a necessity. And I always talk about this, right? Trust, experience, especially when it comes to real estate. It's a big decision. Maybe the biggest that you'll make in your life from a financial perspective. Home equity line of credit, buying a home, selling a home. And that's why I love talking about Spence at Village Financial Group. I've known Spencer since he started his family-owned business 25 years ago. And he's a financing specialist, tons of experience, very creative, and he has access to private money. Check out Spence with Village Financial Group. Call or text Spencer, 916-805-4868. That's 916-805-4868. Be sure to ask for the investor special as well. So many thousands of properties available right now. You can check them all out by going to VFGloans.com. That's VFGloans.com. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. You know, one final thought on what I was just saying. There are certain areas of the world that you have to do research on before you go there when it comes to safety, because the reality is no matter where you are, you want to be safe, right? And you're not immune to something bad happening to you, even in a country with a relatively low crime rate. I mean, you can always have something bad happen to you. I mean, it's life. But like when I travel to certain countries, I do some research on safety and things that you really should not do and things that are very fine to do. And like in Southeast Asia, for example, in Vietnam, in Thailand, in Bali, like in Bali, you want to talk about inexpensive? Like if this individual really wants even cheaper than Vietnam for the most part, and just like I can't even explain to you Bali. You go to Bali for a week to 10 days and rent a bike and just go explore, and you don't have to worry where you're going. Everywhere's safe. Nothing's going to happen to you. It is absolutely unfreaking believable. Like and you want to rent a spectacular Airbnb, 25, 30, 35 bucks, no problem. Food, $5, beautiful, delicious, no problem, right? You can go to some of the most amazing waterfalls inland, the coastal region. You can go on roads through the Bali countryside that feel like you're in a movie with a green screen in the background because it doesn't look real. I mean, you go down roads where there's nobody there with the most picturesque, beautiful, green, lush, like, wow, bright blue sky. And then a half hour later, you're going up this hill, and then you come down there and you're like, oh my gosh, you got the beautiful sea in front of you with like, I mean, it's unbelievable. It's like, wow. Yeah. You want to be a cyclist? You want to really have some fun? Go get on your bike and ride through Bali. Okay. And I'm not even talking about a motorbike. If you say you're an average cyclist, I don't know. I'd probably go with the power. Go with a motorbike. All right. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. All right. Again, don't forget Grant's Rant is coming up in a couple of moments. We got our football picks to wrap up the week in hour number 3. Can't wait for that. Your phone calls at 916-779-0929. No charge, by the way. Somebody said, what about Florida? Cheap flights to Orlando and an hour to the beach, $130 hotel on the beach. What else? You can get a hotel on the beach for $130. Good luck. That's all I'm going to say. Good luck. Have fun. Third hour of the show, Grant's Rant next, Fox Sports Sacramento. Listed on the screen was the warning of its contents: intense violence, blood and gore, sexual themes, drug references, and strong language. Yeah, no kids allowed, sure. It's like a park bench with a wet paint sign attached. More come on than caution. It's a game the whole Manson family can play. What kind of remorseless, non-conscious adult would produce and market such a game unless engaged for his or her blind greed and obedience? Were kids in the audience expected to be frightened by such a warning or salivating to buy the game, to forget football in favor of spending the day playing this game, as if the game's producers had no idea? Kids are no different than 30 years ago. Only the prompts and messages have changed. Who was Spike Lee, the racially indulged front row hypocrite addressing as the street stereotype Mars Blackmon, where he implored kids to procure obscenely overpriced slave factory third world made Nike sneakers with all you homeboys should be bum rushing to get some? Soon Nikes and Air Jordans would become status symbols that kids would mug and murder for. They still do, to get some. But kids are no different from 30 years ago. Yeah, let's movie bamboozled, eviscerated, and mocked those who sought to profit from entertainment designed to portray blacks as dim-witted, street-talking commercial characters. As if Lee hadn't done just that. Throughout the Jets game, Fox provided the new obligatory and relentlessly mindless replay and slow-motion attention to those in a state of excessive personal self-affection. And he goes on and on and on. He's spot on about this. All right? He's spot on about this. And he ends it by saying this. And kids, don't forget, you can't possibly be a sports fan unless you have a bet or three on the game. Pressure action at halftime. Here, we'll teach you how it's done. And Thanksgiving is now a time for the family to gather to watch and gamble on 3 National Field Goal League games. And now 3 NFL games on Christmas Day. God bet ye merry, gentlemen. Martin Luther King Day Jr. is now a time to memorialize a man who gave us a day off to watch and gamble on NBA games, noon through night. There had to be a lot of kids watching live or on TV Sunday when the Celtics Cavaliers totaled 92 three-point shots, more than half the game's total field goal attempts. That's what the NBA has allowed basketball to become. Got it? Now do it. Just do it. And there had to be kids in the stands watching Central Connecticut's 122-57 win against Johnson and Wales. Kids also in attendance to watch Ohio State's women squeeze past Niagara 130-32. This, kids, is known as basketball. Legend has it that General Cornwallis's 5th or Fife and Drum Corps, upon the British surrender at Yorktown in 1781 played, "The World Turned Upside Down." If only the band was able to simultaneously hold its genitalia, would it be eligible for Marshawn Lynch's product endorsements and Princeton University Person of the Year award, not to mention Roger, It's All About Our Fans Goodell's Super Bowl halftime extravaganzas, starring those who trash women as sex discards and chant the N-word with pole dancers in their flanks. How can kids be no different when those who should know better conspire to help make them creeps? Is there anybody better than Phil Mushnick? Seriously. Is there anyone that tells the truth in our nation's newspapers more than Phil Mushnick? Is there anyone that is more spot on with what's going on in society and our issues and tells it like it is than Phil Mushnick? Not in my opinion. He's in a class by himself. He's truly in a class by himself. And twice a week, it is appointment reading for me to read Phil Mushnick in the New York Post. That column is so spot on. It is so indicative and accurate of the issues facing our youth today. You cannot even watch a sporting event on network TV without very disturbing messaging coming right at you. And it's very difficult to filter that to your young ones. It's very difficult to want to enjoy a game with your son or daughter and deal with some of the advertising and commentary that is coming at you fast and furious. And yet you ask yourself, why? Or now, many times we don't even ask that question because, unfortunately, it's become acceptable and accepted behavior, right? You might have been shocked when those type of ads first came out on your network TV games on a Sunday afternoon, but you don't anymore. You don't even raise your eyebrows anymore, do you? Or do you if you have young ones at home that are watching the games with dad or mom or grandma or grandpa or whatever the case may be? Right? What do? Do you lower the volume? Do you mute it? What do you do if your son or daughter asks you a question about that video game that Phil is referring to? Or the numerous sports betting commercials and everything else? How do you handle that? Is it just the way we are now in society? Are things ever going to change, and the impact that it has on our youth? I've talked about this ad nauseum. I've done podcasts on this because we always talk about the proverbial tip of the iceberg. Legalized sports betting. Sports gambling's been going on from the start of time, so I get that. Excuse me. People have always bet on sports. They always will bet on sports, and that's not going to change, whether it's legal or illegal. It's never going to change. But what has happened now with the advent of your telephone and how it is so easy to make bets just by holding the phone in your hand, and the temptation that has provided our young adults with the commercials that we see every single game, the disturbing, alarming numbers, negative numbers, with men in their 20s, and the data compared to where it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, in many alarming categories, is attributed to sports betting. And since legalized sports betting is a new phenomenon with our sports leagues, not illegal, legal, the data that we have is minimal. With each passing year, it becomes more and more. And with each passing year, it becomes more and more alarming. And I would, no pun intended, wager to say that right now, and I'm going to keep it to the male audience, not to preclude or try to acknowledge that it's not going on with the female population, but I think it's more than accurate and factual to say it's more of a male phenomenon. I would wager to say, again, no pun intended, that if you have a son who is currently in junior high or particularly high school, they are gambling without you even knowing it and are using Cash App, Venmo, and other ways to exchange money back and forth to their friends over games. Okay? I would absolutely say the chances of that are much greater than not, that is currently going on with your son. And I would also wager to say, no pun intended, that it increases when they go to college, and it increases when they become old enough legally to go on one of these apps, use their phone, and make bets. Okay? I believe it's going on in your home. I know it went on in my home. I talked to my sons about this. I've talked to other parents about this. And I just wonder what the data is going to look like 10 years from now, 20 years from now. I applaud Phil Mushnick for calling it the way it is and not turning his head the other way. I love that. Our lives begin to end the day we remain silent about things that matter. One of the great quotes from MLK. With that said, we'll take a break. 916-779-0929 if you want to add on to that. Don't forget our NFL picks coming up in about 20 minutes right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
At Downtown Ford Sacramento, we're proud of our long heritage. We've consistently provided Ford cars and trucks to families and businesses in this region for over 100 years. If we think about it, practically every kid who grew up in this town at one time or another rode around in a Ford that we sold to their family. We've served multiple generations of local farmers and ranchers who got their rugged Ford trucks from us. We've also provided many of the emergency vehicles that you see out doing the people's work every day on the streets. All of us at Downtown Ford, from our top-notch service department who keep your Ford running like new, to our dedicated finance team and the guys and gals in our showroom, we thank you for generations of love and loyalty to us. And for that love, we say right back at you. We're doing Fords just like we always have. Come see us any day of the week or visit us online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
The holidays are here, and Gabrud Services is here for any electrical need or emergency. Holiday periods put more stress on your home's electrical system, more activity, more lights being used, increased appliance use, and more. Here are 3 holiday electrical reminders from the good dudes at Gabrud's. 1. There's still time for Gabrud's to inspect your home's electrical integrity. 2. Gabrud's are the experts in backup generator installation with flexible financing options to make a whole house generator affordable. And 3. Gabrud's has live call answering 24/7. We're here any time of day, especially in case of an emergency. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. And at the holidays, we're here to ensure your home and family are safe. Locally owned for more than 30 years. Call Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabrud's.com.
Boy, a lot of lopsided games currently in the association. Of course, you know, the Lakers are playing with no LeBron, no Luka, and they're down 69-46 in Boston at the half. Atlanta has a huge lead at home against Denver. It is 57-38 with 6:25 left to go in the first half. Think about that, 57-38. Elsewhere, the Spurs and the Cavs separated by a point, second quarter. Detroit up 4 on Portland. A minute and a half into quarter number 2. The Knicks are destroying the Jazz at the Garden. It is 51-23 with 7 minutes left to go in the half. Houston, Phoenix just underway. Milwaukee, Phoenix just underway. Dallas, Oklahoma City a little bit later. Rhino, tomorrow, you think that Max Reno starts, or do you think the matchups with Bam Adebayo, it's not favorable and maybe it's not the best way to handle it? But what do you think? Gut feeling, you think that Reno gets into the starting lineup tomorrow?
Yeah, I've been poking around a little bit, and my guess is he is starting from what I've heard, and I think he has done enough between the last week and a half of basketball to earn the right to go up against a Bam, and I think Doug's comments after the game bolstered that, saying he needs to get looks against those guys. So tomorrow's the time.
Right now at the half, the Heat lead the Magic 60-57. Tyler Hero is not playing in this game, and I quite frankly don't know about his availability for tomorrow. But one thing I do know about Miami, they don't lose 2 games in a row very often, and they lost their last game. So if you are thinking of the Kings winning in South Florida, you probably want Miami to win this game tonight, okay?
Yeah.
Because if they lose 2 in a row, I don't like that.
One of the Kings' best wins last season came against Miami. Miami was off in Sacramento. Kings' second night of a back-to-back, and they made Miami. I don't want to say they broke Miami, but the Kings had better stamina that night and won. Grant, I'm looking forward to seeing Jaime Jaquez play. He is always such a joy to play there in Miami.
I like watching Miami play for this reason, Ryan, is they're very well coached. They're very disciplined. And I like watching teams like that. I really do. I like watching disciplined teams that are well coached. But I'm looking at Miami, and I'm looking at their injury report. Again, Hero is calling a toe, so that's why he is not playing in the game tonight. But Miami is really playing very well. They did lose their last game to Dallas, which was very surprising. And right now they have a 3-point game at the break with the Orlando Magic. So we'll see about Tyler Hero tomorrow. I don't think it really matters whether Hero plays or not. I still think the Kings are going to lose the game tomorrow. I want to see them compete. I want to see the young players continue to play minutes, and that's really what I'm looking for the game tomorrow. Whether they win or lose, at this point, what difference does it make? I mean, seriously, the season's over. It is what it is. So we'll see tomorrow. We'll be on YouTube right after the game. We'll be breaking it down with Jerry and Rhino and myself. That's tomorrow on YouTube and X right after the game. But again, the score is 60-57. We talk about Boncaro being back. He played only 11 minutes in that first half, so not a lot. 7 minutes, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. The Magic with a lineup of Boncaro, Wagner, Carter Jr., Bain, and Suggs. Not a lot of points from their starters. Wagner had 13, and other than that, nobody with more than 7.
See, but that's kind of the evolution of Orlando to me, because they were a team that wanted to beat you to 100 last year, and scoring was an issue. The evolution is them being able to play both ways, and you're starting to see that now on the other side where they can explode offensively. And as for the Kings, Grant, it's kind of surprising that we have not had a player that scored more than 34 points in a game this season.
Is that right? Is that Zach LaVine?
Zach LaVine. Yep. Domantas Sabonis had 34 as well against Minnesota. But yeah, Zach LaVine at Utah.
I don't have the statistics, and I don't even know if they make them. But the Kings have now played, all right, a total of 22 games. They're 5-17. So instead of an exact number of a percentage of the total number of minutes played by the Kings this year, what percentage of those minutes do you think they actually had the lead?
It's a great question. I would say it's nowhere more than 25%.
Yeah, it's got to be less than that. I was going to actually say in the high teens. Because there have been games where they haven't led at all.
You think about Phoenix. So you had Phoenix, which was...
Yeah, you were up 20.
Up 20. I think about overtime against Minnesota. I think it's less than 20%. I think it might be. Here's one thing that we know for sure. When the Kings have 20 or more assists, they've won all 5 games, which means the ball moves.
Interesting. 16 games back of Oklahoma City, 5 up, 17 down. Again, we always talk about the alarming numbers. 11.8, their point differential in the red. That's more than 1 point. That's more than 1 full point than the second worst team is New Orleans. That's alarming.
Well, Grant, they're old, as Jerry said.
Yep.
They're small, and a problem that has been here in Sacramento for the last few years is guys playing out of position. And to a degree, you still have that going on.
Which players do you think are playing out of position the most on the Kings currently?
It's a great question. In a perfect world, and I've asked Keegan, he says it doesn't matter. Keegan needs to be at the 3. You need to have a true 4 next to him. When you put Precious out there, you're putting Precious at 4. Do you think that's in position for him, Grant? Because I think of him more as a 5.
It's tough for me to say. I'm on the fence on that, but I agree with you 100%. Best case scenario, you want to put Murray at the 3.
Yeah. This is a big argument that always happens in SAC. Should Sabonis be at 4 or 5? Yes, we know it didn't always work in Indianapolis, but I probably put him at a 4 rather than a 5, unless you're going to play him alongside Max Renaud. Because to me, that if you had a Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis, Max Renaud front line, there's a lot you can do there offensively. A lot of
The
times,
ball would be passing would be
zipping,
beautiful.
right? It would be zipping around, which means DeMar DeRozan, is he a 2 or a 3? I think he leans more towards 2, but a lot of times he starts at 3, actually. So you can make that argument. Zach's natural at the 2 guard. So that's Zach and Dennis, Russ.
Well, Russ has played out of position a lot this year.
He has as well, but he's predominantly started at point guard when he's gotten the starts. So you have 2 positions that we can say are in position. It's your backcourt.
This question, Grant, do we need to evaluate the Kings every 5 games and giving them a letter grade? It will be D's and F's, maybe for funsies. I mean, you don't have to anymore. I've been doing it, and yeah, there are a lot of D's and F's.
You have to, don't you? As the season goes on, we have to grade it on a scale, though, right, Grant?
What do you mean by on a scale?
You're grading it on the progression of, if the young guys continue playing, the progression of the rookies. Like, we know this season is not going to result in a playoff run. So I'm looking at player development. And if I'm seeing things and I'm seeing those guys get runway, that's going to make me grade them out a little bit better rather than just going off of plain wins and losses.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I get you. I'm judging this team right now on one thing. Well, there are 2 things I'm judging this team on. You just hit on that. The development of the young players and their minutes, and how many minutes out of 48 are they competitive. That's what I'm judging this team. I'm not judging on whether they win or lose, because quite frankly, I'm not expecting them to win tomorrow. I told you I thought they were going to lose easily by double digits again against Houston. But I don't want to see the games against Atlanta. I don't want to see the blowouts that I've been seeing this year. I don't want to see the blowouts at Memphis. I don't want to see the embarrassing games. I want to see this team looking like they give a damn. And quite frankly, that's my biggest problem that I have. There are too many times I watch this team where I don't think they care. When I watch the Utah Jazz, I never get that feeling. And even though the Jazz right now are losing 54-30, and to be honest, I'm not watching the game. It's now 59-31. I know that the Jazz are playing hard, because every time I watch the Jazz, that's what I see. I don't see that with the Kings. I just don't.
Grant, you could almost, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, there's almost a line between the hostages and the volunteers. Many hostages start, and then the volunteers come in and clean it up and make that first quarter look better. So Doug Christie's going to have to find a way to navigate that. So the Kings have won 2 games in a row. That's their, can we even call it a winning streak? Will they win?
Yeah, you did. They beat Denver, and then they beat Minnesota in overtime.
Yep. So here's my question to you. Will they have a streak of wins longer than 2 the rest of the season?
Yeah, they will. They'll get to a point where they probably win 3 in a row at some point in the season, in March or April, when they're playing a weak schedule and the other teams are doing the same thing that the Kings are. Yeah, I could see that, which would probably then get all the fans here in a panic, because they're going to move up the ladder a little bit, which would reduce their odds. And, well, I'm just being honest. You know that. I know that.
Yeah, very true. But remember, you don't necessarily want to have the best odds. Hasn't worked out in the last couple lotteries.
No. But still, with that being said, I want the best odds.
Agreed.
I mean, you want the best odds, do you not?
Yes, of course you do. Of course you do. And the Kings have had good luck, too. That's the other thing. Yeah. So many of these games have come against teams that are resting their starters.
Yeah.
If somebody gets hurt, Wemby, first game he misses all season against the Kings. So there's no reason to think that's not going to continue, because it's happened the last 2.5 seasons.
All right, we're a couple of moments away from doing our picks. Have you even looked yet, sir? Are you prepared to step up and get the job done? Have you looked at your NFL odds?
I just pulled up the 2 sites last segment. So
Okay.
I'm scanning through and
2 sites?
Yeah, DraftKings, and then I'm looking at some other
Okay.
numbers.
But we don't want to confuse the fans. We want to make sure that you have to use the DraftKings odds. And do we have a winner from last week? We have 2 winners, do we
have
not?
2 winners, 2 separate winners. And I want to make this clear for anybody that thinks there's a discrepancy with picks. You can always hit us up, but if you have already won a gift card, you're not currently eligible. So we appreciate your picks. If you had a 4-0 record, great job. But that's why you might not be heard. But we have 2 new winners, a Thanksgiving Day and a weekend winner as well.
Awesome. And not as many games to choose from this week because of, well, I shouldn't say that, but
a lot of games have been played.
Yeah. So let's look at the schedule when we come back. Let's do our picks. Let's have some fun with this. And let's see if we can, like, both go, one of us go 4-0, the other go 3-1. That would be great, man. We need to go strong here in the month of December, my friend.
If not, I'm going to let Liam start making my picks. He was almost 500 last year.
Yes. So am I going to let you go first when we come back, or me? Who's going first?
No, you get the honors.
Okay.
You get the honors.
All right. That's coming up next right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Well,
Hey, it's Grant Napear for Village Financial Group. I have known broker-owner Spencer Grimmenstein for 25 years, ever since he began his family-owned business. Whether it's a home equity line of credit or buying or selling a home, Spencer is a very creative financing specialist with access to private money. Check out Village Financial Group at bfgloans.com or call Spencer at 916-805-4868. Be sure and call for the investor special. And if you go to their website, bfgloans.com, you can find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. Folks, Spencer is awesome. Trust me. Again, I've known the guy since 2000. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Call 916-805-4868.
The holidays are here, and Gabrud Services is here for any electrical need or emergency. Holiday periods put more stress on your home's electrical system, more activity, more lights being used, increased appliance use, and more. Here are 3 holiday electrical reminders from the good dudes at Gabrud's. 1. There's still time for Gabrud's to inspect your home's electrical integrity. 2. Gabrud's are the experts in backup generator installation with flexible financing options to make a whole house generator affordable. And 3. Gabrud's has live call answering 24/7. We're here any time of day, especially in case of an emergency. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. And at the holidays, we're here to ensure your home and family are safe. Locally owned for more than 30 years. Call Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabrud's.com.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
Remember, always be generous with the nutmeg. Just eyeball it.
Okay.
Mom's wisdom has served you well, but now it may be your turn to guide her.
Hey, I'm worried about Mom. She keeps forgetting her famous sweet potato pie recipe.
Some things come with age, sis.
And some don't.
Knowing the early signs of Alzheimer's in a loved one will help you make the best decisions for your family. Visit 10signs.org to learn the signs. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Oh, I love it. Love the music. Love this time of the week. We get you into the weekend. Rhino, let's make some people happy. Who are our winners? 2 winners from last week.
We do have 2 new winners. Congratulations to Dave Spiewak on the X. He went 3-0 on Thanksgiving. So you have won a $100 gift card to Bennett's Restaurant. And also congratulations to Chris Jones, 3-1 over the weekend. You both are headed to Bennett's, 3 locations here in the greater Sacramento area. Prime cuts of seafood and steak. Go check them out. Bennett'sRestaurants.com.
All right, now remember, you must use DraftKings NFL odds. And the reason for that is we all have to be playing under the same criteria. So you have to have the DraftKings NFL odds. All right. And then all you do is you go to X and you respond to the tweet that we put out and you're good to go. All right. I go first.
Hold on. I think we need to clarify something.
Go ahead.
Can we talk this out on the air?
Yes. Yeah,
if somebody sends their picks on a Sunday, the odds change. So do we need to have the line or the plus or the minus next to whichever team you're picking when you send the picks to us?
That's up to you, man. I you're making this too hard for me, so I'll let you decide.
All right. We'll take that under consideration. And for the text saying the statutory time for our station for winners, I am not the promotions department. I will check with the promotions department because they give me a list. So we'll let you know if you are eligible or not.
Really?
Correct.
So we're getting into those type of details now, huh?
That's according to the text line. Yeah, they went into the fine print. So
wow.
Good for them. Hey, it's $100 to Bennett's, Grant. I'd be doing the same.
Yeah. I'm with you. All right, NFL, the Houston Texans, a team that I am buying, right?
Yep.
They are in Kansas City, and they are getting 3.5 points. Rhino, let me explain something to you about the Texans. Their defense is as good as any in the NFL. Now let me read you the injury report for the struggling Kansas City Chiefs. Starting left tackle, Josh Simmons, out. Starting right guard, Trey Smith, doubtful. Starting right tackle, Jawan Taylor, doubtful. Do you remember what happened when the Chiefs went up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Super Bowl without their starting left tackle and their starting right tackle?
I think they got shut out, right, Nate?
They didn't score a touchdown.
Yeah.
Okay? They didn't score a touchdown. I don't know how they're going to move the ball with that offensive line against this Houston defense. And the Texans are getting 3.5. Give me the Houston Texans plus 3.5 on the road at Kansas City.
That was the best pick of the week. That thing was juicy. Just
you
hanging
can take
out
it.
there.
You can go on it.
No,
you can take it.
I'm gonna leave that to you. Good job by you. I am heading to Cleveland, where the Browns are hosting the 1-win Tennessee Titans, who are afraid of punters who are threatening them. Regardless, the Cleveland defense is still really good. And you know what's really bad? The Texans offense. Also, I like the way that Sanders is playing. So I am going to ride with the Browns again and lay the 4 points.
All right. Let's move on to a huge game in the AFC South. Indianapolis at Jacksonville. The Colts are kind of coming back down to earth a little bit, but I think they're going to rise back to the top. I think they'll be able to do enough in Jacksonville. They are 1.5 point favorites, so they're giving 1.5 to Jacksonville, who's a home dog. Give me Indianapolis minus 1.5 at Jacksonville. Give me the Colts.
Another fine pick by you, my friend. Cody, your Broncos let me down last week. They didn't cover. They won, so congrats to you. 10-2. But, Cody, I'm going to give your Broncos a second chance. If you can't cover 7.5 points to the Raiders in the Roomba, in the desert that's going to be filled with Broncos fans, then you are not a legit 10-2 contender. Give me the Broncos minus 7.5.
I was going to take that next, so good job right there because I think that is a layup. All right. So, we talk about big games, right?
Yeah.
The Chicago Bears are atop the NFC North. The Green Bay Packers are at home. They're giving the Bears 6.5.
It's a lot.
I know the Bears just went into Philly and steamrolled them. I'm still not buying the Bears. I'm selling the Bears. I'm waiting for them to come back down to earth. Micah Parsons is going to make life miserable for Caleb Williams. I'll give you the 6.5. Give me the Packers at home, who have been inconsistent, but I don't think they're going to be inconsistent this week. I'll give you the 6.5. I'll take them over the Bears.
I am going to fade the boss. I'm sticking on that game. I'm not a believer in the Bears making a long run, but when the Packers have been inconsistent, it has been at home. Yes, I know Jacobs is back. Wild card is obviously Jordan Love. He had 4 touchdowns last week, but I haven't seen him follow that up with another good performance. 6.5 points in a divisional game. Cold, whatever. The Bears are used to it. They play in similar weather. Give me the 6.5. I don't think the Packers win by a touchdown, Names.
Wow. All right. By the way, Cody is sending you a message on the text line. Don't do it, Ryan. It was 10-7 the last time. Raiders always play the Broncos tough. That's from Cody. He's just trying to help you out, buddy, but it's too late.
It's too
You've
late.
already made the pick.
I threw it down. Cody, I got belief that this team's going to be different. They make it different this week.
All right. So the Rams had a very disappointing game last week at Carolina. They're at Arizona, who I think is waving the white flag. I love the Rams in this game, even though they're given 8.5. I think they're going to steamroll the Cardinals. I'll take the Rams. I'll give you a lot of points. Give me the Rams in this game over the Arizona Cardinals.
All right. Last pick for me. The New York Jets. Am I going to go there, Names? Am I going to go with the New York Jets playing at home against the Miami Dolphins? I am. The Jets actually have been competitive. You're going to give them 2.5 points. I'm going to take the 2.5 points. So give me the Jets at home plus 2.5.
That's a game I would have taken 2, even though it's difficult to take bad teams, but both of those teams are bad.
Yes.
So I like that. All right, so let's review real quickly. You've got Cleveland, Denver, Chicago, the New York Jets. I've got Houston, Indy, Green Bay, and the Rams. Correct?
Bingo. Those are our 4 picks. Make sure you hit us with your 4 picks. About an hour after the show, we will tweet ours out. Make sure you respond to that thread, and you will be eligible to win this week's $100 gift card to Bennett's Restaurants.
All right, so I have another question for you on my picks, and then I'm going to go to your picks.
Yes.
Of the 4 games that I picked, Houston, Indianapolis, Green Bay, and the Rams, which one do you like the most?
Houston. 100%.
Okay.
I like Houston the most. How about you?
I like your Denver pick. Sorry, Cody, but I know Cody wants to steamroll them, but I know that those games are normally close divisional games, and I know Denver's in close games almost every single week, and so that would make me go, gee, that's a lot of points for a team that only wins by a whisker. But I'm with you. I think the Raiders are just like waiting for the finish line so they can go home.
Yeah. Is there a particular game that you were running away from that you just didn't want to touch?
Well, there are a lot of games I don't like to touch. That just, here, what I've learned over the years, and by the way, I don't gamble. This is for fun, and I mean that. If a game looks too easy, I go the other way.
Mm.
And I got to tell you, the Texans to me look a little too easy when I go over the offensive line. But like my mouth and my mind don't work in sync. So I'm still going with Houston. But like if it looks too good, looks too easy, I normally try to go the other way.
Good enough. I think Buffalo fan is probably a little nervous the way Joe Burrow played last week. Can he follow that up in Buffalo? They've only got a couple home games left.
Yeah, they don't have Tyler Hendrickson's not playing, so that would I think that's going to be a big issue. They're not going to be able to get to Allen. So I did look at that game, but name me a team in the league right now that you think's consistent. It seems like everybody's inconsistent other than New England.
Bingo. It's exactly right. It feels like a coin flip every single week, and that's what makes this season a lot of fun. I will tell you this. The game that worries me, and it's not because I'm a Seahawks fan, is the Seahawks versus or at Atlanta in the early window. Seahawks favored by 6.5.
It's a lot. It's a lot of points in that game.
And you never, ever know which Atlanta team's going to show up.
Right.
And
that's the point.
If they run the ball effectively, and they have been running the ball, at least last week they ran it well, and they still lost.
Yeah.
You keep the Seahawks off the field. The offense. Yeah. Worries.
I haven't liked the way Darnold's played the last couple of games either.
Me
so
either.
I want to see him really have a strong finish to this season because I've been riding Seattle's tune all year. I think Seattle wins this game, but I could see it being a little bit closer. So I'm with you on that. Seattle's clearly a better team. We know that, but you make a good point. You never know which team's going to show up in Atlanta with the Falcons. You really don't know.
Yeah. Hey,
how about that weekend of football there? You got Alabama and Georgia, and you clear it out, clean it up, and let's go NFL the next day.
I thought you made one of the points of the week about the 49ers in their bye. Like, the Niners should be sending multiple Christmas cards to the NFL office, both for their strength of schedule and getting this late of a bye. It's huge.
631 chiming in. Thank goodness the Giants have a bye this week. We can all use a break. Yes, I would agree with that. I'm right with you on that. Do you know the Giants have lost 20 of their last 25 games, Ryan?
No.
Do you know how hard that is to do in the NFL? 20, and they're 5-20 in their last 25 games. Think about that.
Oh, it's rough. But yet you have excitement with Malik Neighbors and Jackson Dart.
Hey, Cam Scatterbo.
If
he comes back, and if he's, I just don't see Cam, and we're all rooting for him. I don't see how he could have a long shell life. Do you?
I think he can, actually. But Joe Davidson agreed with me. What's up, Joe? Still coming in studio, right?
Joe's coming in the studio.
He agreed with me. Scatterbo is conditioned. He's played this way his entire career. He's always been undersized, and he's just been that wrecking ball. I think he does not, and I know he runs a super physical way, but the hits that he takes are different because the center of gravity is so much lower than a lot of other players.
Name me a wrecking ball that's had a long career in the NFL at a running back. I can't name one.
Danny Woodhead had a pretty good career, and he wasn't a prototypical wrecking ball. I mean, Jamal, well, yeah, no, that's not a good
And by
example.
the way, I hope he does have a long career for a variety of reasons. Number one, I like to see athletes succeed. Number two, he's a local kid. And number three, I'm a diehard Giants fan.
Yeah. There's been a decent amount. I would say some of the smaller players, Darren Sproles, not a wrecking ball, but think about the size. Some of them have had very, very good careers, and he returned punts, returned kicks. So I just have a feeling Cam's body is conditioned that way. It's just
and his injury, by the way, has nothing to do with his style of football. It was just, one
Right.
of those things getting tackled on a pass coming over the middle.
Right. My biggest concern with Cam is what you're dealing with Jackson is the concussions. That's what worries me.
All right, you say that's what worries you. Does Cody's little tip worry you? I mean, Cody is Mr. Denver Bronco. Does that worry you?
It doesn't, because we were texting during the game this week, and he's like, oh, they'll get it. They'll cover it. Don't worry. And,
Really?
yeah.
Oh, now he's turned on you.
So, I appreciate Cody.
We all appreciate Cody. He's one of our
dude.
most loyal listeners and followers on YouTube. We love Cody.
Yeah. And I had to text him. I'm like, Code, you got me sweating. You're keeping me one game away from a perfect week.
I've met Cody, great guy. He was out at our post-game playoff shows when we were doing that after the Kings-Warriors games, and had a great time hanging out with Cody. I'm just wondering what kind of life he has, because he literally listens to every single show, every minute, and everything we do on YouTube, whether it's a post-game show or
another show. The guy's there all the time. It's unbelievable.
He's the most loyal of the loyal. He was the first one at the parties and the last one to leave many times. And, there's this YouTube thing going around. It's a YouTube annual summary when you go onto your profile, and it will tell you what you watch the most. I've had a number of people, Patrick in New York, one of them, that have sent me pictures saying that they're in the 1% of viewers of If You Don't Like That, meaning
Is
they're
that right? Well,
watching it
Patrick's
all the time.
That's amazing.
And
Patrick's unbelievably loyal.
Yep, and I guarantee Cody has one of those when he goes to YouTube as well.
What about Baki?
He should. I just don't know that Baki always watches on YouTube. I think he might be an X guy sometimes.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, been a good week. And don't forget, tomorrow, right after the Kings game, Rhino, myself, Jerry Reynolds, will be on YouTube and X. That's following the Kings and the Miami Heat tomorrow. As we talked about, the Heat are in action tonight, so you are getting them on a second night of a back-to-back. Not a real difficult back-to-back, about a 40-minute flight from Orlando to Miami. And, you look at the Heat, no Tyler Hero tonight, and they are losing 87-79 with 30 seconds left. Now it's the end of the third. If you're a Kings fan and you have any hopes of winning the game, you do not want Miami losing this game tonight because they're 10-2 at home. They have a really good record, and this would be their second loss consecutively. So they will be dialed in and ready to go tomorrow. They're 14-8, okay? And again, they lost to Dallas, and now if they lose to Orlando, you will get the A version, I believe, of the Miami Heat tomorrow. Sacramento, as we know, 5-17, stop 2 of a 3-game trip. Then they go to Indiana, and they take on a team that's 4-18. They're actually going to be playing a team that's worse than they are, if you can believe that. Yeah. Brutal. So that's coming up tomorrow over on YouTube and X. Patrick says, thank you, guys. Have a good weekend. You too. Scatterboo got hurt because of a short pass by Dart. No, Scatterboo got hurt because that's football, and that's what happens on a football field. That's why he got hurt. The NFL story, but tomorrow, of course, the world of college football, and then we'll know what the college football playoff is going to be like. Big game tomorrow, Alabama and Georgia. If Alabama loses, they're probably out. Going to be a long, long offseason if they do for Kellen DeBoer and the Crimson Tide. Appreciate your support. Thank you so much, everybody. You're awesome. We'll do it again on Monday at 3 o'clock, and we'll have so much to talk about: the college football playoff, the NFL story, the latest playoff odds, the Kings. Yeah, we got you dialed in. Have yourself a fabulous weekend. Stay safe, everybody. Thank you for your support. Have a fabulous weekend. For Rhino, Grant Napear, so long, everybody, and thanks for listening to Fox Sports Sacramento. Bye-bye.
Cameron,